Chapter 749. How Chongjun paid no attention to Lu Li. He swung his axe again. Lu Li used psychic power. Hao Chuan disappeared and reappeared in front of the axe. The axe paused for a moment. Fearing that Hao Chuan would be taken down, Lu Li controlled the soul seed in Hao Chuan's soul to go on a rampage. Hao Chuan bled out from his eyes, ears, nose, and mouth right in front of Hao Chongjun. He fell to the ground and stared at Hao Chongjun with hatred in the depth of his eyes. Phew, phew. Hao Chongjun closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Then, he continued to chop, one chop after another without stopping. Lu Li's eyes flickered. After a while, he turned to a young master and a young lady of the Hao family. The young master dropped to his knees, kowtowed to Lu Li and begged, "Don't kill me. I don't want to die. Don't kill me, please." "Begging me won't help," Lu Li said emotionlessly. "I am not cruel, but your forefather is. He is the one who wants you dead. Go out and beg him. If he doesn't want you to live, then go to hell." The hall glowed as the young master and the young lady were teleported out. They dropped to their knees and cried, "Forefather, save us. We don't want to die." Hao Chongjun's axe stopped in midair. He shook his head and said, "The Hao family will remember you for what you have done for the family." Whoosh! Hao family progenitor waved his axe and left a wound on their necks. Hao Chongjun killed his own offspring in person. Even Lu Li was speechless at the cruelty of this man. Hao Chongjun still had 2 Earth Immortal Realm warriors in there. Lu Li didn't want to send them to their deaths. Since Hao Chongjun was bold enough to kill his own offspring, nobody could stop him. Bang, bang, bang. Hao Chongjun kept attacking, but the bead only glowed. It didn't move, not to mention tremble. Lu Li was relieved. He focused on the bead to see if it needed energy. If it did, it would be blasted open sooner or later. On closer inspection, Lu Li noticed something was wrong. There seemed to be some faint energy circulating in the bead. Every time Hao Chongjun slashed, the energy would decrease a little. Although it was a very small amount, it was indeed decreasing. Lu Li checked carefully for the time for 3 incense sticks to burn. He was sure that the energy was diminishing. That being said, compared to the energy in the bead, the energy was diminishing. At this rate, it would take several years for the bead to be cracked. Haha. Lu Li sensed it again, and his confidence was boosted. Several years in a row? Who would be that foolish? What if this bead couldn't be split open even after a few decades? Would Hao Chongjun continue to waste time here? Would the others allow Hao Chongjun to obtain the treasure alone? Lu Li's mind. Lu cultivated and let Hao Chongjun do to him. Hao Chongjun did not stop and continued to attack. Every breath of time, he would chop down with his axe. He did not release any particularly terrifying, profound meaning, because that would consume a lot of vitality. His vitality was greatly damaged after losing an arm, so he did not dare to act recklessly. 2 hours, 6 hours, 16 hours. Hao Chongjun kept on attacking without a moment's rest. He stared at the glow on the bead. He was shocked and overjoyed at the same time. He had been attacking for 16 hours, but the glow of the bead didn't diminish. There was no doubt that this was a relic. Hao Chongjun was frustrated. The glow of the bead didn't diminish. Could he really not be able to crack it? Let me try the profound meaning. Hao Chongjun was getting impatient. If he was discovered by other warriors, not only would he lose the relic, but he would also be in big trouble. He put away his axe and began to build up a horrifying, profound meaning. Xianxi and heaven and earth gathered here from all sides. It was getting dark in the sky. Dark clouds came together and formed a huge sword. Sword of destruction. In the distance, the Hao family Earth Immortal Realm warrior was taken aback. This was the most powerful, profound meaning of the Hao family progenitor warrior, an 8th rank profound meaning related to destruction. Retreat. Even though they were 3 miles away, the Hao family Earth Immortal Realm warrior decided to step back. The profound meaning was so horrifying that he would be injured by the impact. Swish, swish, from the sky, the huge sword with a length of 1,000 feet whooshed down. The shrill noise was heard in an area with a radius of 300 miles. A surge of energy that could destroy heaven and earth spread out. Space trembled and ripples spread out to an area with a radius of hundreds of miles. It was as if the sky was being torn apart. Whoosh! The huge sword pierced through the sky, stirring up horrifying airwaves. The wind was torn apart, thunder was rumbling, and lightning was flashing. It was as if the world was going to end. The sword pierced through the sky, and the airwaves came down with it. The mountains in all directions were cracked. Rocks flew everywhere, and dust billowed. It was a horrifying scene. Bang! The tip of the huge sword landed on the wicked bead. The wicked bead glowed, but it didn't tremble one bit. On the other hand, the ground under the wicked bead cracked and turned into dust. The ground in an area with a radius of several miles sunk down for more than 100 feet. A huge pit appeared. That is impressive. Luli was alarmed. He checked the surroundings and was shocked. The strength of this old monster in the divine transformation realm was too terrifying. He could probably raise a huge city to the ground with just one move. If the sword were to fly forward, it could cut out a valley with a length of thousands of miles. Luli remembered the legend of the Heaven Reverse universe. It was said that the Clouds Plains and the Serenity Plains were originally connected, but were split apart by Emperor of Heaven Reverse. Luli believed that this was not just a legend after witnessing the profound meaning of the Hao family progenitor warrior. Emperor of Heaven Reverse was much more powerful than the Hao family progenitor warrior. It was possible that he could split the Clouds Plains and the Serenity Plains apart. I've consumed a lot of energy. Luli noticed that this move could last for 2 hours as long as Hao Changjuan's average attack. But compared to the energy in the wicked bead, this loss was nothing. Again, Hao Changjun was thrilled to see the glow of the bead growing. He thought the bead could not stand it any longer. It was true that releasing powerful, profound meanings would hurt his vitality. He was already injured, and releasing profound meanings in a row would aggravate his injuries. That being said, everything would be worth it as long as he could get the bead. Boom, boom, boom. Hao Changjun released the sword of destruction 4 times in a row. The mountains around him had disappeared, leaving behind a huge valley. As for the ground under the bead, there was a bottomless pit. When Hao Changjun was about to unleash the sword of destruction for the 5th time, 2 silhouettes dashed over from afar. A sneer came from afar. I knew this old turtle from the Hao family was up to no good. I was right. Hao Changjun, you old man, you want to keep the treasure for yourself? Hao Changjun turned around at once. Seeing the 2 old men coming, a glint of anger and bitterness rose in his eyes. Wu Guangda and Chun Tianxian, the 2 family patriarchs of the Mage Imperial Universe, were here together. Hao Changjun would not have shared the bead. He had spent so much time in vain. The bead was a relic. Who didn't have a way? Chapter 750. Hao Changjun was caught in an awkward situation. Should he leave? His previous efforts would be in vain. If he had consumed too much energy in the bead, Wu Guangda and Chun Tianxian would be the ones to take advantage of him. If he did not leave, should he join forces with them? What if they could get the bead? How would they divide it? In a fight, he might be killed by the 2 lunatics from the Mage Imperial Universe. No! Hao family had lost 3 young disciples for the bead. Hao family had paid such a heavy price. How could Hao Changjun accept that? He made up his mind and stood on the side. When Wu Guangda and Chun Tianxian arrived, he said in a sarcastic tone, "You didn't go to the Lung dynasty to loot them, did you? Do you think I don't know what you were up to?" The pot calling the kettle black. Chun Tianxian sneered. Wu Guangda was enraged. He glared at Hao Changjun coldly and said, "Hao Changjun, you are the one who is dirty. Don't slander us. Our Earth Immortal Realm warriors here were attacked and alerted me. Otherwise, why would I come in such a hurry?" Wu Guangda looked at the bell in the distance and shouted angrily, "Let them go." Hao Changjun grabbed at the void. The bell flew back in a blur. The 2 Earth Immortal Realm warriors inside had passed out. Wu Guangda snorted, seeing that his Earth Immortal Realm warriors were fine. He looked at the bead floating in the air and the huge pit on the ground. He asked with a frown, Hao Changjun, how long have you been attacking? Why can't you crack the bead? Hao Changjun nodded bitterly and said, 3 of our disciples have been sacrificed. We have suffered a great loss. Ha, ha, ha. You deserve it. Chen Tianxian sneered. He flew toward the bead and released a blood-red hand, ready to continue the attack. Wu Guangde, on the other hand, was afraid to go over because he was worried about Wu Xie. Luli had a clear view of what was going on outside. He wanted to threaten Wu Xie with his life. However, Hao Changjun could abandon Hao Chuan and the others. Warriors of the Mage Imperial Universe were all lunatics. They might not care about Wu Xie's life. Luli thought for a while and said, Wu family patriarch, you don't care about Wu Xie's life? Wu Guangde winked at Chen Tianxian. Chen Tianxian stopped his attack. Wu Guangde flew over and shouted, Kid, what do you want? We have destroyed the city of Lung for you. Why don't you let him go? I can release him. Lu Li's voice continued. He said sincerely, what's more, after I release him, I can remove the soul seal immediately and let young master Wu Xie go back in one piece. Really? Wu Guangde's eyes lit up. Wu Xie was his biological grandson. Among his many grandchildren, Wu Xie was his favorite. Of course, Lu Li replied. I don't have the hobbies, and your young master is not powerful. It doesn't matter if I have one more soul slave or not. If you promise me one thing, I'll release him immediately. If I don't, I will die tomorrow. I swear in the name of Emperor of Heaven Reverse. Wu Guangde was excited. Emperor of Heaven Reverse was a mighty warrior in the divinity. Not many dared to swear in the name of Emperor of Heaven Reverse. On the off chance that Emperor of Heaven Reverse sensed it, Lu Li would be blasted to death immediately. Wu Guangde nodded. Name it. Anything is fine as long as it is not too much. Aha, not at all. Lu Li smiled. Then, in a murderous tone, he said, Help me kill the Hao family semi-god realm warrior, and I will let him go right away. Swish, 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 Hao Changjuan's face turned pale. His broken arm was sapped. What was more, he had been attacking for a long time and releasing his most powerful, profound meaning several times. His injuries had worsened. He was less than 70% of his original abilities. Facing 2 lunatics from the Mage Imperial Universe, he was doomed. Wu Guangde and Chen Tianxian looked at each other. A glint of killing intent rose in their eyes. As long as Wu Xie could be saved, Wu Guangde would have nothing to fear. The 2 of them could work together to attack the wicked bead. It was highly possible that they could get the bead. The Mage Imperial Universe was full of lunatics. Usually there would be infighting, but outside they would be united. Let's kill the people outside first before deciding who's the winner. If Hao Changjun was killed, then the bead would belong to the Mage Imperial Universe. The 2 of them had planned to attack together. Once the bead was secured, they would kill Hao Changjun at once. At once, the 2 of them were filled with killing intent. They stared at Hao Changjun. Hao Changjun's heart skipped a beat. Without any hesitation, he dashed toward the southeast like a dragon. After a while, he vanished in a thin air. You want to run? Too late. Chen Tianxian waved his hand. A blood-red hand came into being in the sky and smashed down. As the hand smashed down, space trembled violently. Hao Changjun's body appeared in midair. His speed was greatly reduced, as if he was moving in slow motion. His speed was dozens of times slower. Charge! A spear appeared in Wu Guangde's hand. He dashed over in a blur and reached Hao Changjun's back in an instant. The tip of the spear glowed in a dark yellow light. The space around the spearhead was shattered. Lu Li could not tell what profound meaning it was. Swish! The spear stabbed into Hao Changjun's back. Hao Changjun's quasi-relic armor emerged, but the spear turned into a shadow and went on. Wu Guangde! Hao Changjun spat out a mouthful of blood. He formed a seal with both hands and desperately created a destructive sword, which he swung at Wu Guangde behind him. Ah ha ha! Wu Guangde grinned. He had not stepped back. The spear went on, and at the same time, he smashed at Hao Changjun's head with his right hand. Boom! The sword of destruction smashed down. Wu Guangde and Hao Chongjun were smashed down. The ground cracked. Gravel fell down and dust billowed. Within a radius of 300 miles, the ground was trembling. Whoosh! In the dust, Wu Guanda flew up, covered in blood. He carried a body in his hand. It was Hao Chongjuan's. Flying toward the wicked bead, Wu Guanda shouted, "Luli, let him go. I have killed Hao Chongjun." Whoosh! On the other side, Chun Tianxian dashed over. The Hao family Earth, immortal realm warrior that was trying to flee was killed by him. "Good," Luli said. Then, the wicked bead glowed, and Wu Xie came out. As soon as Wu Xie came out, he flew toward Wu Guanda with joy and shouted, "Grandpa!" "Good. Luli, you are really something." Wu Guanda took a healing pellet. He used psychic power to check that there were no more soul seeds in Wu Xie's head. Wu Xie had regained his freedom. Wu Guanda nodded in approval. Chun Tianxian flew over. He glanced at Wu Xie and then at the wicked bead. He said, "Lu, have you ever heard of an old saying, an innocent man gets into trouble because of his wealth? You are too weak. You cannot own this bead. Name your terms. How can I get you to give up the bead?" "You want the wicked bead?" Luli asked. He thought about it and said, "The problem is there is only one bead and there are two of you. How about you fight first, and then we can talk about the last one?" Chen Tianxian and Wu Guanda looked at each other. Wu Guanda's heart skipped a beat. Just now, in order to kill Hao Chongjun, he took a blow from the sword of destruction and was injured. If Chen Tianxian were to make a move, Wu Guanda might lose his life. "Ha ha!" Chen Tianxian grinned and said with mockery, "Lu, you are very good at sowing dissension. Don't insult our intelligence. Less tricks and more sincerity, okay? P.S. You have recommendation tickets. Why waste them? Please vote for the Eternal Dragon Emperor. Make it to the recommendation list and kill the immortals." Chapter 751. Luli had used this tactic before. He used Chen Tianxian and Wu Guanda to kill Hao Chongjun. Now, he was trying to sow dissension. If Chen Tianxian was just a young boy, he might have been fooled. Luli didn't promise anything, and he wanted Chen Tianxian to kill Wu Guanda. If Luli had sworn in the name of Emperor of Heaven Reverse like he did just now, Chen Tianxian might have thought about it. But Luli was insulting Chen Tianxian's intelligence by trying to kill him with a borrowed knife after just a few words. Of course, Luli's words were not useless. At the very least, Wu Guanda was on guard in case Chen Tianxian made a move. Warriors of the Mage Imperial Universe were all lunatics. This was not something to be said casually. Luli didn't feel embarrassed, even though his attempt to sow discord had failed. He laughed and said, "Warrior from the Mage Imperial Universe, don't insult my intelligence. If I give up the wicked bead, I am afraid you will kill me at once." Chun Tianxian shrugged and said, "I can make an oath like you did. I will protect you. If you die, I will kill myself." Luli said nothing. The two of them could not crack the wicked bead. He had no intention of giving it away. It was pointless to waste more time. "Let me think about it." After throwing out these words, he immediately went into seclusion. While cultivating, Luli dissolved the seal of the wicked bead and studied profound meanings. He learned a profound meaning of the wind in the forbidden ground of Elder God, and it could control the feather wind. This profound meaning was not an average one. Luli wanted to study it further to see if he could make a breakthrough. Chen Tianxian and Wu Guanda waited outside for a while. Wu Guanda waved to the earth, immortal realm warrior of the Wu family who had woken up, "Send the young master back." Wu Xie was too weak. A war could break out in the Central Imperial Universe at any moment. He could even lose his life. It was not appropriate for him to stay here. "Grandfather," Wu Xie called out worriedly. Wu Guanda waved his hand, and the earth immortal flew away with Wu Xie. Wu Guanda wiped the blood on his face and asked Chen Tianxian, "Chen, what should we do? Looks like this kid is trying to stall for time. Let's destroy it first." Chen Tianxian waited for a while. Knowing that Luli would not hand over the wicked bead, Chen Tianxian generated a skeleton hand and smashed at the wicked bead. Wu Guangda swallowed another healing potion and flew to the side for a distance. The long spear suddenly pierced through the void and appeared near the bead, heavily stabbing the bead. Boom! Bang! The two of them took turns attacking without stopping. It didn't take much effort for the two of them to take turns to attack. You attack, then I attack. The two of them didn't release any great divine abilities and just used ordinary profound meanings to attack. After attacking for 12 to 14 hours, the bead did not react at all. Every time he attacked, the bead would only light up slightly and then return to normal. The two of them were secretly shocked. Just how much energy was stored in this bead. Even if it was a powerful semi-divine weapon, it should have been destroyed after being bombarded by the two of them for so long, right? This was indeed a divine artifact. The two increased the intensity of their attacks. After 12 to 14 hours, Wu Guangda's wounds were almost healed. He was not worried about Chun Tianxian's sneak attack anymore. The two continued their attacks. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. After another 8 hours, they heard some noises coming from the distance. A group of people was flying over. The two of them took a look and saw that it was Jun Hongye with a group of Earth Immortal Realm warriors from the Earth Imperial Universe, and Li Family Patriarch and his Earth Immortal Realm warriors from the Underworld Universe. What? The Ren Family Earth Immortal Realm warrior was with them as well? Wasn't the Ren Family Earth Immortal Realm warrior with the Wu Family and Chun Family Earth Immortal Realm warrior? Where were the Chun Family and Wu Family Earth Immortal Realm warriors? Chun Tianxian and Wu Guangda had a bad feeling. Apart from the Earth Immortal Realm warriors of their two families, almost all the others were here. The 6 families had 12 semi-god realm warriors, but the Lung family killed 4 of them. Ren Family Patriarch, 2 semi-god realm warriors of the Wu family and Chun family, and 1 semi-god realm warrior of the Li family from the Underworld Universe died. Hao Changjun was killed by Wu Guangda and Chun Tianxian. Only 7 of the 12 Earth Immortal Realm warriors were left. Apart from Wu Guangda and Chun Tianxian, the other 5 semi-god realm warriors were all here. They were originally divided into 2 teams, but now all the Earth Immortal Realm warriors were gathered together. Chun Tianxian and Chun Tianxian felt something was wrong. They suspected that Jun Hongye was working with the Hao family, the Li family, and the Rin family of the Underworld Universe to deal with them. Uncle Changjun, the other semi-god realm warrior of the Hao family, saw Hao Changjun's body on the ground. He screamed in sorrow. Killing intent surged around him as he shouted, "Let's kill them together! How dare you?" Chun Tianxian shouted, "If you dare to lay a finger on us, we will destroy the 4 of you. Is that so?" Jun Hongye sneered. He waved his hand and said, "Let's kill the 2 old dogs. Let's do it together." Whoosh, 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 Li Family Patriarch, the other semi-god realm warrior of the Ren family, and the 3 semi-god realm warriors of the Jun family, and the Hao family all flew up. The other Earth Immortal Realm warriors didn't get involved in the fight between the semi-god realm warriors. They would all be killed if they dared to get close. They were not that stupid. Let's go. Chun Tianxian and Wu Guangda were not stupid either. They each released a powerful, profound meaning attack and dashed toward the north. They were crazy, yes, but they were not idiots. 2 semi-god realm warriors against 5 semi-god realm warriors. They might be able to kill 1 or 2, but they would not survive. A blood-red glow rose around them. They sped up. In the time for 1 breath, they vanished into the horizon. Jun Hongye and the others could not catch up with them even if they wanted to. Such a shame. Jun Hongye was troubled. Warriors of the Mage Imperial Universe all knew a skill called Blood Escape. This skill allowed them to run away so fast that it was impossible to catch up with them. This was the most frightening thing about the lunatics of the Mage Imperial Universe. Stop it. Seeing that the Hao family semi-god realm warrior was going after them, Jun Hongye yelled. He looked at the wicked bead, feeling even more troubled. His grandson was in the wicked bead. How could he leave his grandson behind? Jun Hongye thought about it and said, "Lu Li, we have wiped out the Lung family for you. According to our agreement, you should let them go, right?" There was no reply from the wicked bead. After a while, Jun Hongye said, Luli, are you going to let them go or not? Tell me, what's with the noise? After the time for 10 breaths, Luli finally replied, How family bastard has killed his own grandson. How about I send your disciples out, so you can kill them yourself? Jun Hongye's expressions changed. The Rin family semi-god realm warrior and the Li family patriarch were upset. They were in a dilemma. They could either abandon their own disciple for the sake of the wicked bead, or give up on the wicked bead. Buzzing. With a glare, Jun family, Rin family, and the Li family each sent out a young master. Luli said emotionlessly, Kill the 3 young masters first. Later, kill Jun Mingchen and the others. When they're dead, you can attack the wicked bead. Chapter 752. Outside, the 3 young masters were begging. The ones inside were terrified. Luli, on the other hand, showed no emotion. He was not affected at all. In the forbidden ground of Elder God, Lung Wuxin's slap had awakened him and made him understand his situation. To the great realms, he was just an ant. Anyone who wanted to kill him would not hesitate to do so. Therefore, he had to be cold-blooded and ruthless. He had to be resolute in killing in order to survive. Any sliver of luck could cost him his life. Jun Hongye and the others were still hesitating. All of a sudden, a ray of blood-red light came from the north toward the 3 young masters outside the wicked bead. How dare you? Jun Hongye was enraged. His robe billowed. Then, he tore at his robe. His robe whooshed out and turned into a flag that blocked the ray of blood-red light. Swish, however, from another direction, a shadow of a spear suddenly appeared in front of the 3 young masters. The spear pierced through, and the heads of the 3 young masters exploded. Ha ha ha! From the north came 2 bursts of laughter. Wu Guangda's voice was heard. Jun Hongye, this is what you will get for killing our people. Wu Guangda, Chen Tianxian. Jun Hongye was enraged. He dashed over like an eagle. The other semi-god, realm warrior of the Jun family, Hao family, and Rin family, and Li family went after them. Inside the wicked bead, Luli grinned. Fighting against each other was the best outcome. The wicked bead didn't have to withstand strong attacks. After all, the less energy in the wicked bead, the better. The rest of the Earth immortal realm warriors looked at each other, not knowing what to do. They didn't have the courage to go after semi-god realm warriors. They had to stay here. Luli stopped cultivating outside. He could cultivate Xian energy fast here. The only problem was that his soul pond was not growing fast enough. Otherwise, he could have reached the later stage of the noble lord realm soon. He had done well in learning profound meanings. Peace returned to the outside world. 4 days later, the 5 semi-god realm warriors came back. They were gloomy. Clearly, they failed to kill Wu Guangda and Chen Tianxian. As soon as Jun Hongye came back, he looked at the wicked bead and shouted, Luli, let go of Meng Chen and the others. We will go back to our universes and never come back to the Central Imperial Universe. What do you say? Silence. Li family patriarch added, Luli, don't push it too far. You must be principled. We have already helped you destroy the Lung family. What else do you want? Don't tell me you don't want to mingle in the 4 major realms and 5 minor realms anymore. Are you really not afraid that we will track down your clansmen and exterminate your entire clan? Still silence. The Rin family Earth immortal realm warrior added, Luli, name your terms. We can talk about anything. Still silence. Jun Hongye made up his mind. He looked at the others. The Rin family and the Li family nodded in agreement. Everyone attacked the pearl. Jun Hongye waved his hand. The over 40 Earth immortal realm warriors spread out and began to attack the wicked bead. The 5 semi-god realm cultivators also made their moves. They were ready to give up on Jun Mingchen and the others. That's right. Luli's attitude made them feel hopeless. Luli was too cautious. He wouldn't let them go unless his own safety was at stake. The problem was, the world was so big, where could it be safe? They didn't know that Luli was from the Heaven Reverse Universe. They thought he was from one of the universes. Therefore, Luli could run to the ends of the world, but he would still be killed. Therefore, Luli would not let them go easily. If so, they had to cut their losses and sacrifice their own disciples to get the wicked bead. The leaders of the 4 families had reached an agreement. No matter which family would get the wicked bead, the family would have to compensate the other 3 families. The 4 families could not fight against each other. Relic, who wouldn't want it? Once they took control of the relic, their abilities would be enhanced. They would be able to defeat any semi-god realm warrior. By then, they wouldn't have to be afraid of being challenged by any family. The 5 semi-god realm warriors and the over 40 earth immortal realm warriors were attacking wildly. The wicked bead was glaring. Inside the wicked bead, Luli felt troubled. These people were determined to crack the wicked bead. With so many people attacking, the energy in the wicked bead was dwindling. The wicked bead could not last for another year or 2. I am sorry. It is your progenitor that wants you dead. A glint of coldness rose in Lu Li's eyes as he looked at Jun Mingchen and the others. Jun Mingchen and the others were terrified. Lu Li remained calm. He sent out all the young disciples except for Lung Wuxin. Boom, 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 boom. The sky was filled with Xian energy. The dozens of warriors never stopped attacking. As soon as they were teleported out, they were overwhelmed by all kinds of attacks. The quasi-relic armors they were wearing were taken off by Lu Li. Needless to say, they were all smashed into pieces. There was no way to save them. Ming Chen, Jun Hongye yelled in grief and indignation. Watching his favorite grandson being smashed into pieces was a huge blow to him. At that moment, Jun Hongye felt he had aged decades. Rin family and Li family warriors were enraged as well. Their attacks became more violent. They began to use profound meanings. You asked for it, Lu Li said coldly. Your greed killed them. I'm not cruel. It is you who are cruel. With that said, Lu Li ignored them. He poured more Xian energy into the wicked bead. He poured all the Xian energy he cultivated into the wicked bead, trying to dissolve the first layer of seal in the wicked bead faster. This is good, Lu Li checked. As he poured in Xian energy, the speed of dissolution was increased by several times. At this rate, in a year at most, the first layer of seal could be undone. He had placed all his hopes on the first layer of seal. If he could not protect himself after the seal was lifted, then he would have to die here. Lu Li resumed his cultivation. The 9 Earth Immortal Realm warriors sitting next to him were in a state of anxiety. They could tell from Lu Li's words what was going on outside. All the young masters and young ladies of their families were dead. Who could tell if Lu Li would throw them out as well? Lung Wuxin was making pellets in a corner, expressionless. She did not know that the Lung family had been wiped out, but she had a rough idea. How could the Lung family survive the joint attack of so many families? If she could commit suicide, she would have done so a long time ago. Because of one decision, she had caused the death of many Lung family warriors. She felt she would rather die than live. She regretted going to the inferno. Why did she provoke Lu Li? Lu Li immersed himself in cultivation. He used methods to cultivate Xian energy and poured all the Xian energy he had into the wicked bead to break the first layer of seal. The 5 semi-god realm warriors and more than 40 earth immortal realm warriors were attacking the wicked bead in a frenzy. Jun Hongye and the others had made up their minds. They would crack the bead open and cut Lu Li into pieces even if they were to lose their lives here. Chapter 753. 1 month. They had been attacking for a month, and the wicked bead was still glowing. There was no sign of it cracking. Fortunately, Wu Guangde and Chun Tianxian never showed up during the month. Last time, the 5 semi-god realm warriors chased after them for days and nights in a fit of rage and wounded too. The 2 must be hiding somewhere to tend to their wounds. Feng Dynasty and Qi Dynasty didn't do anything. They didn't want to get involved. That being said, some scouts were sent over to keep an eye on the situation. Jun Hongye didn't want to pay attention to the scouts. He didn't want to offend the 2 dynasties, so he didn't do anything. They had been attacking for a month, but nothing happened to the wicked bead. Jun Hongye and the others were frustrated. That being said, they didn't want to give up. Their families would have died in vain, and they would have wasted a month. Lu Li cultivated like crazy for a month. All the Xian energy he cultivated was poured into the wicked bead, which increased the speed of cultivation. Of course, it would take him at least a year to dissolve the Xian energy completely. The two parties seemed to be in a stalemate. Time moved on. 10 days later, the stalemate was broken. Swish, swish, from the north came a slight noise. Then a blood-red hand came into being in the sky. That hand was more than 1,000 feet in size. It smashed down like the hand of God. Back off! Jun Hongye came to his senses at once. He took out a huge saber and hacked at the sky. The other semi-god realm warriors launched their attacks at the same time. Boom, boom, the hand in the sky was torn apart. Space trembled and cracks appeared. A gust of wind sprang up. The horrifying energy spread out. The scouts that were hiding were trembling in fear. Chun Tianxian. Jun Hongye yelled. He dashed up like a dragon. The other 4 semi-god realm warriors dashed over as well, trying to inflict another wound on Chun Tianxian. Ha ha ha. Chun Tianxian flew toward the north while laughing. He didn't release the blood escape. He kept a distance of 2 miles from the others. Wait, 300 miles later, Jun Hongye suddenly came to his senses. He yelled, luring the tiger away from the mountain. Go back. Wu Guangda was not here. He must not be tending to his wounds. He must have gone to kill the Earth Immortal Realm warriors. They were taken aback. They hurried back. From the distance, they could hear the noise coming from the wicked bead and some miserable cries. Wu Guangda, I swear to kill you. The wicked bead was in a mess. Dozens of Earth Immortal Realm warriors were flying around. Wu Guangda was hunting them down with his spear in hand. He had killed 8 Earth Immortal Realm warriors. Ha ha! Wu Guangda ran away, no longer going after Jun Hongye. He vanished into the east in a ray of blood-red light. His laughter echoed in the sky. Jun Hongye, come and kill me if you have the guts. Those who dare to provoke the mage Imperial Universe must be prepared for our revenge. Jun Hongye didn't go after Wu Guangda. He couldn't catch up with Wu Guangda after he used the blood escape. Looking at the mutilated corpses on the ground and the severely wounded Earth Immortals, he felt like weeping but had no tears. There were 2 of them, Chun Tianxian and Wu Guangda. Both of them were crazy. They risked their lives to launch a sneak attack. A few people were killed this time, a few people were killed that time. The remaining people were probably all going to die here. Don't spread out, Jun Hongye said after some thoughts. Even if we go after them, we must leave 2 semi-god realm warriors nearby. We cannot be fooled again. They nodded in agreement. 3 of them went after the wicked bead and 2 stayed behind. Even if someone were to sneak up on them, they would be able to fend them off. Those who were wounded began to tend to their wounds, and those who were not wounded kept on attacking the wicked bead. They had been attacking for a long time, and so many had died. How could they give up now? Jun Hongye and the others had made up their minds. Even if there were only 5 of them left, they would keep on attacking until the wicked bead cracked open. In just 3 days, Chun Tianxian and Wu Guangda came again. This time, they didn't lure the enemy away from its territory. Instead, they attacked from the south and the north, from the front and from the back. They used 2 powerful, profound meanings. While Jun Hongye and the others were busy fending off Wu Guangda's attacks, Chun Tianxian killed 3 Earth Immortal Realm warriors in one move. After that, Chun Tianxian ran away using the blood escape. They didn't give Jun Hongye and the others a chance to go after them. Go back, Jun Hongye said to the remaining Earth Immortal Realm warriors. It was pointless for them to stay here. Sooner or later, they would all be killed. They had to go back to other universes to survive. Semi-god realm warriors of the Hao family, Rin family, and the Leaf family waved their hands. They could not stop Wu Guangda and Chun Tianxian's sneak attack. They would only end up as cold corpses if they stayed here. They had thought about mobilizing semi-god realm warriors from their families. However, what if their families were invaded by the lunatics of the mage Imperial Universe? Chun Tianxian and Wu Guangda didn't do that. What if they were waiting for a chance to invade the Earth Imperial Universe and the Underworld Universe? The more than 30 Earth Immortal Realm warriors nodded and left in silence. They flew away in a group.
They flew to the west first. They planned to take a detour to the City of Chaos in case they ran into Chun Tianxian and Wu Guangda. The remaining 5 warriors kept on attacking the Wicked Bead. Though there were fewer Earth Immortal Realm warriors, their attacks were not weakened. The 5 warriors began to use powerful, profound meanings, trying to crack the Wicked Bead as soon as possible. 10 days later, Chun Tianxian and Wu Guangda showed up again. They didn't attack. Instead, they threw over an interspatial ring and then flew away while laughing. Jun Hongye had a bad feeling. He flew over and picked up the interspatial ring. He checked with psychic power. His eyes turned red. He spat out blood and shouted, "Ah, Wu Guangda, Chun Tianxian, you 2 bastards. Ah." The other 4 warriors were taken aback. They took over the interspatial ring and checked with psychic power. Killing intent surged out from their bodies. The dozens of Earth Immortal Realm warriors that left were all killed. Not a single one was missing. Their bodies were chopped into pieces. Dozens of bodies were piled up together. Not a whole body could be found. "You bastard, Wu Guangda, Chun Tianxian, you 2 bastards. You have gone too far." Li family patriarch and Rin family progenitor felt like weeping. Hao family and Jun family were powerful families. The death of some Earth Immortal Realm warriors was not a big deal. The 2 families didn't have that many Earth Immortal Realm warriors. The loss of more than 20 was heartbreaking. Each of the 2 families lost a semi-god realm warrior. The Rin family even lost their family patriarch. What a great loss. Disciples of the 2 families were not saved. 2 semi-god realm warriors and all the Earth Immortal Realm warriors were lost. The 2 old warriors felt like killing themselves. More importantly, the Wicked Bead had been attacking for such a long time. It didn't even budge one bit, let alone crack it. The 2 old warriors felt helpless. If the Wicked Bead could not be cracked after 1 year, what would happen after 10 years? What should they do? Even if they could, the 2 families of the underworld universe would not have a share. It was highly likely that Jun Hongye would take it. By then, if the Wicked Bead could only be compensated with a small amount of mystical materials and treasures, the 2 families would suffer a great loss. "Go on," Jun Hongye yelled. "Use your profound meanings. Let's try to crack in a month. When we have the bead, we will work together to conquer the Mage Imperial Universe and wipe out the Wu family and the Chun family. Revenge. P.S. All the chosen warriors, please vote for me and help me kill a god." Chapter 754. With all the Earth Immortal Realm warriors dead, there were only 5 semi-god realm warriors left. They didn't have to worry about Chun Tianxian and Wu Guangda's sneak attack. If the 2 of them dared to launch a sneak attack on the 5 of them, the 5 of them would have a chance to retaliate. Last time, they had heavily injured the 2 of them. They went on. After more than 10 days, Chun Tianxian and Wu Guangda never showed up again. They were relieved and continued to attack the Wicked Bead day and night. The Feng dynasty was as quiet as the Qi dynasty. Apart from the scouts nearby, no other powerful cultivators came. Actually, the 2 majestic empires did not make any moves. This was the situation on the surface. There was a turbulent undercurrent in the 2 empires, and they had been arguing endlessly recently. In a dark hall in the city of Feng, all the major families of the Central Imperial Universe were gathered here. 8 ninth-rank families' patriarchs were in the hall. All the families had learned about the situation at the north of the city of Long. Lu Li's situation was clear to them. Lu Li was not a big shot. Jun Hongye was just looking for an excuse to start a war. Of course, at the moment, Lu Li's name was prominent because he had a relic in his hands. Many people had died because of this relic. What the clans were debating was whether or not they should participate in the fight for this divine artifact. Any clan that obtained this divine artifact would immediately soar to become the #1 clan in the 4 major realms and 5 minor realms. Any soul formation cultivator who obtained this divine artifact would be able to increase their strength by leaps and bounds, and it was very likely that they would be able to defeat all other soul formation cultivators. They believed that Luli could not use all the functions of the relic. Given his realm, he could not take full control of it. Relic was something extraordinary. It could not just be used for defense. At the moment, there were only 7 semi-god realm warriors on the other side. The Feng family and the Qi family had 9 semi-god realm warriors in total. Including the other families, there were 15 semi-god realm warriors in total. If they managed to take down Primal Chaos City and seal the portal to Primal Chaos Purgatory, they would be able to catch a turtle in a jar. Wasn't it easy for 15 soul formation cultivators to kill 7 soul formation cultivators? By then, the Wicked Bead would belong to the Central Imperial Universe. Either the Qi family or the Feng family could conquer the other universes. The problem was, who took the bead? Over the years, Qi family and Feng family had not been on good terms. Either family could suppress the other if they took over the territory. They could even unify the Central Imperial Universe and destroy the other family. There was another problem. On the off chance that some of the 7 semi-god realm warriors could escape, there would be a storm of blood in the Central Imperial Universe. Many would lose their lives. A random strike from a semi-god realm warrior could turn a city into ashes. That would be a catastrophe for the Central Imperial Universe. In addition, sealing or destroying the passageway to the purgatory of primordial chaos did not mean that there would be nothing to worry about. The realms outside could use their great divine abilities to break through the barriers between realms. The 4 realms were connected. If they paid a huge price to break through the barriers between the realms, it would take them at least half a year. If they could not take control of the Wicked Bead within half a year, the families of the other universes would join hands to invade the Central Imperial Universe. By then, all the families of the Central Imperial Universe would be wiped out, and the Central Imperial Universe would be divided up by the other families. Therefore, the major families in Great Darjfeng City had been arguing for more than a month, but they still hadn't come to a conclusion. Looking at the situation, it seemed that there would never be a result, because neither the Feng family nor the Qi family would accept the other. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Old Ancestor Qi, Old Ancestor Feng, please come up with an idea. At this rate, the bead will be cracked. That's right. Let's get the bead first. The bead is fine as long as it is in the Central Imperial Universe. If Jun Hongya, Wu Guangda, or Chun Tianxin get it, we will suffer even more. How can we fight for the bead without discussing who will get it? Let's say that we kill the 7 warriors. In the end, we will kill each other, and the Central Imperial Universe will be plunged into misery and suffering. Isn't it the same whether we get the bead or not? Yes, only the Feng family can get the bead. Otherwise, we will not fight. Let's not talk about dividing the spoils first. Let's think about how the other families will react when we kill the 7 warriors. By then, we can break down the spatial barriers. Who can stop the families? It was noisy in the hall. Qi family and Feng family progenitors didn't say anything. The others were making noise, which annoyed the progenitors of the 2 families. Enough. Feng family progenitor finally said something. He waved his hand and said, "Go back. Feng family doesn't want the bead anymore. We will not get involved. Do whatever you want." Qi family progenitor's long white eyebrows twitched. He grinned and said, "Old Feng, why are you angry? Isn't this a negotiation? How about we let you get the bead? You can take a heaven reverse blood oath and surrender the Central Imperial Universe. If you promise not to invade the Central Imperial Universe for 10,000 years, we will help you get the bead." Feng family warriors were tempted. If they could get the bead, their progenitor would be able to defeat the 4 major universes and 5 minor ones. By then, he could unify the other 8 universes. So what if the Central Imperial Universe had the bead? Feng family progenitor snorted and said, "Old Qi, don't play games with me. You and I both know that it doesn't matter which family gets the bead. The key is how to fight back against the other families after the bead is taken. It was easy to get the bead, but not to consume it completely. Otherwise, Luli would have done so long ago. He wouldn't have stayed there and let the semi-god realm warriors attack him." Qi family progenitor
and Feng family progenitor were powerful. That being said, the bead was a relic. They were mortals. How could they take control of something used by immortals? It would take several years for the bead to be consumed completely. The Central Imperial Universe would not be able to stop the other family's counterattack. By then, they would have to go to their ancestral lands. The family that took the bead would be fine, but the other families would suffer a great loss. Also, if the plan went wrong and the warriors escaped, it would be troublesome, especially Wu Guangda and Chun Tianxian. The two had the blood escape skill. Nobody here was sure that they could capture the two. If the two escaped, there would be endless troubles. Qi family progenitor thought for a while. Then he suddenly moved closer and said mysteriously, "If that man is willing to do it, then all the problems will be solved. Even if the families come back together, he will be able to stop them." That man? Feng family progenitor frowned. Then his eyes glowed and he asked, "You mean him?" Qi family progenitor nodded. The others were confused. One of them shouted after a while, "Yes, we have forgotten one person, the crippled Zen master. As long as the crippled Zen master is willing to help, we can survive even if the families come at us together." The crippled Zen master. The group of people in the hall trembled slightly, and a look of surprise appeared in their eyes. It was as if this name had magical powers. Just the name alone was enough to suffocate them. If all the powerful warriors of the Central Imperial Universe were to be ranked according to their abilities, one man would definitely be number one. He had been for thousands of years, and that man was the crippled Zen master. 3,000 years ago, it seemed that he was about to die of old age. But now he was still alive? All right. Chapter 755. The Zen Valley was near the City of Chaos, only tens of thousands of miles away from the city. It was at the border of the Feng dynasty and the Qi dynasty. The Zen Valley used to be a place where bandits roamed. There was a huge mountain called the Zen Valley. There were many spirit veins in the mountain which attracted many bandits. Since it was at the border of the two dynasties, and the two dynasties had always been enemies, nobody cared about this place. Until 3,000 years ago, an old man came to this place. After he came, all the bandits behaved themselves. Those that did not were all killed. The old man was old when he came. It seemed that he could die at any moment. One of his legs was smaller than the average person. Therefore, he had to walk with a walking stick. The old man was powerful, ridiculously so. He fought against all the powerful warriors in the Zen Valley alone and killed them in one move. Later, the old man settled down in a beautiful valley in the mountain. He lived there for 3,000 years. The old man kept a low profile and never stirred up trouble. But he never swallowed his pride. Those that dared to provoke him all died, including the two semi-god realm warriors of the Qi family and the Feng family. Nobody knew where the old man came from or why he stayed in the Zen Valley and never came out. Nobody knew when he was going to die. For 3,000 years, the old man never came out. At least, nobody saw him go out. Therefore, apart from the major families, nobody in the Central Imperial Universe knew about him. Nobody knew his name. They just named him after the Zen Valley. Also, one of his legs was disabled. It was fitting to be called the crippled Zen master. One day, two special guests came to the Zen Valley. The oldest progenitor warriors of the Qi family and the Feng family came together. They were old as well. One of them had lived for 3,000 years, and the other for more than 2,000 years. They once visited the crippled Zen master. They were somewhat friends. When they arrived at the Zen Valley, they didn't fly anymore. They walked into the mountains. They were fast. There were people hiding in the mountains. They didn't show up when they sensed the two. They stopped when they arrived at a quiet valley in the depth of the mountains. There were two guards outside the valley, two men in cyan robes. Even though they were the gatekeepers, the two old ancestors did not dare to be too arrogant. Qi clan's old ancestor stroked his long beard and said, "Please inform the Lord that Qi Donghai and Feng Wanhu are here to see him." The two guards nodded coldly. One of them said, "Just wait." The man turned around and went into the valley. The two most powerful warriors of the Central Imperial Universe waited outside. After a full hour, the middle-aged man came out and said,
My young miss invites you. Miss. The two ancestral masters were stunned. The Tiankin elder had always been alone. Since when did he have descendants? The two of them looked at each other and then thought of something. They nodded slightly and walked inside together. The valley was very big. After walking in, they saw a bamboo forest. The bamboo forest was very big, and they couldn't see the end of it. There was also a winding river in the bamboo forest. After walking along the bluestone path for an incense sticks time, a sea of flowers appeared before them. There was a small pond in the middle of the sea of flowers. Beside the pond were a few wooden houses and a pavilion. The two of them walked along the bluestone path, passed through the sea of flowers, and arrived at the edge of the pond. There, they saw an extremely beautiful woman. The girl looked to be about 18 or 19 years old. She was dressed in a snow-white robe, and her hair was tied into two crescent moon-shaped buns. Her long skirt fluttered in the wind, and her face was as beautiful as a painting. At the moment, she was sitting in the pavilion and playing the Chinese zither. Her movements were graceful, as if she were a fairy. The pavilion was in the middle of the sea of flowers. Looking from afar, the girl was more beautiful than the flowers. The two progenitors looked at the girl's eyes at once. When they saw that her pretty eyes were still and lifeless, they felt sorry for her. Heaven was jealous of her beauty. How could such a beautiful girl be blind? That was right. If Luli were here, he would recognize the girl playing the Chinese zither. She was Yin Qingxi, the girl he saved in the purgatory of primordial chaos, the blind. When the two progenitors walked to the pavilion, Yin Qingxi had just finished playing. She smiled, stood up, bowed, and said, "Greetings, progenitors. Please take a seat. Someone will serve you some tea." "You are too polite." The two progenitors nodded and sat down. Qi family progenitor suddenly remembered something. He cleared his throat and said, "Girl, I heard that you had some conflicts with some brats of my family. If they have offended you, I will teach them a lesson." "Huh." Yin Qingxi smiled and said, "Progenitor, you are too kind. It is normal for the young generation to quarrel. My progenitor has said that even if the young generation kills me, he will not look into it." The two progenitors had been in closed-door cultivation over the years. They didn't pay much attention to such trifles. Qi family progenitor was relieved to hear Yin Qingxi's words. A man in cyan clothes served 3 cups of tea. The two progenitors were not in the mood to enjoy the tea. After taking a sip, Feng family progenitor asked, "Girl, where is your progenitor? We have something we want to ask him." Yin Qingxi blew on the tea and took a sip. She said with a smile, "You want my progenitor to help you get the wicked bead, right?" "Yeah." The two progenitors were stunned. Feng family progenitor frowned and asked, "Girl, how do you know?" Yin Qingxi lowered her head and smiled. She said in a low voice, "There's a saying that a scholar knows everything in the world without going out. As a matter of fact, I know more than you do. For example, I know that young man named Luli better than you do." "What?" This time, the two progenitors were moved. They looked at each other. Qi family progenitor asked, "Is this Luli really someone important?" Yin Qingxi smiled but didn't explain. She murmured, "He is a wonderful and interesting man." Yin Qingxi exclaimed. She raised her head and put on a serious look. She said, "It has been 3 years since our progenitor came out. So, you have come in vain. He will not see you, and he will not help you. You should know him well. He will not interfere in anything as long as he does not provoke us. Over the past 3,000 years, have you seen him meddling in the disputes of the Central Imperial Universe?" The two progenitors had prepared many excuses, but now they realized they were useless. The two were unwilling to give up. Qi family progenitor sighed. "Our Lord has been living in the Central Imperial Universe for 3,000 years. I think he must have some attachment to the Central Imperial Universe. Can he really bear to see people plunge into misery and suffering?" Yin Qingxi shook her head and said with a smile, "Given his power, do you think it will be difficult for him to unify the Central Imperial Universe? Why hasn't he left the Zen Mountain for 3,000 years? As far as he is concerned, humans of the Central Imperial Universe are no different from animals on the Zen Mountain. He wouldn't even bother to look at them, even if they were wiped out. Go back now. This is our progenitor's will. With that said, Inqingxi stood up and walked out. When she was out of the sea of flowers, she suddenly turned around and said, "Let me give you a piece of advice. If you don't have the fate to force it, you will not only get nothing, but you will also bring endless disasters." Inqingxi flew away and entered a wooden hut. The two progenitors knew that the crippled Zen master must be in that cabin. That being said, they didn't have the courage to disturb him. They left in embarrassment. Before they came, they were upset and couldn't make up their minds. After they left, they were even more upset and dared not to act rashly. Chapter 756. Inqingxi did not linger in the cabin. Instead, she went directly to the backyard. There was a big tree in the backyard. An old man was sitting at a stone table under the tree, playing chess by himself. The old man's eyes were closed. He was floating in midair with a chess piece in his hand, motionless like a statue. The old man looked very old, but he did not look like he was about to die. Judging from his appearance, the old man was even younger than the progenitor warriors of the Qi family and the Feng family. Next to the stone table was a walking stick. The old man's legs were covered by his robe, but it was not obvious that one of them was disabled. Inqingxi picked up the teapot on the stone table and poured a cup of tea for the old man. The old man finally put down the chess piece in his hand. He slightly opened his eyes and showed a trace of affection on his face. He said in a hoarse voice, "Little girl, your heart is moved." Inqingxi blushed. "Forefather, I'm just curious. I want to go and have a look. After all, I owe Luli my life." The crippled Zen master took a sip of tea. His wrinkled face twitched as he said indifferently, "Since that kid is lucky enough to have Emperor Heng's relic, Emperor Heng will not let him die so easily. He has not cracked the relic after so many days. Don't worry about his safety. Emperor Heng is a wise man. He will think things through." Inqingxi was curious. She asked, "Forefather, Luli is only at the Noble Lord realm. Why do you think Emperor Heng would let him have the relic? I don't think Luli is talented. Realm does not represent talent." The crippled Zen master said calmly, "I once knew a strange man. He cultivated for 3,000 years, and his realm was not worth mentioning. He was at the same realm as that kid. But in the next 100 years, his realm improved by leaps and bounds. I think he is one of the supreme warriors in the divinity now." Supreme warrior in the divinity? Inqingxi frowned. She looked at the crippled Zen master. She wanted to ask him something, but eventually, she bit her lips and said nothing. She had lived in the valley for 18 years, but she did not know much about the crippled Zen master. There were many things that the crippled Zen master would not tell her. Seeing Inqingxi pouting, the crippled Zen master smiled gently and said, "Little girl, sometimes it's not good for you to know it now. I'll let you know when it's time to tell you. Cultivate well. Your future will be limitless." And Inqingxi nodded, stood up, and walked outside. When she walked into the cabin, she turned around and asked, "Forefather, can you save Luli?" "No." The crippled Zen master shook his head and said, "Some people can only rise quickly after going through trials. That is why I don't care about your dispute with the young generation of the Central Imperial Universe." If she could not suppress the young generation of the Central Imperial Universe, then how could she have such a meteoric rise? Similarly, if Luli has the relic but cannot keep it, then what right does he have to have it? Inqingxi nodded thoughtfully and walked out. She once again entered the pavilion. The wind blew her black hair and covered her eyes. She stared blankly in one direction without moving. After the time for one incense stick to burn, she sighed and said, "Luli, I cannot help you. You have to rely on yourself. I wish you well. Qingxi still owes you a drink." Luli was safe and sound. He was cultivating every day. The 5 semi-god realm warriors were bombarding the wicked bead, but they could not leave a scratch on it. He cultivated Xian energy crazily and poured it all into the wicked bead. He had forgotten about the threats outside and focused on learning the feather wind profound meaning. The 9 Earth, immortal realm warriors in the small hall were relieved. It had been a long time since Luli threw them out. They must be of some use. Luli didn't want to sacrifice them. Lung Wuxin was still making pellets. She took out a small tripod. Instead of using open flames, she used Xian energy. She had put in many mystical materials. She had made antidotes before, and it was not difficult. It was just a matter of time. Time moved on. The 5 semi-god realm warriors were attacking tirelessly, day and night. Sometimes, when they were tired, they would take turns to rest for 2 hours. Qin Tianxian and Wu Guangda never showed up again. It was as if they had vanished from the world or had returned to the mage imperial universe. However, Jun Hongye and the others did not let their guard down. Instead, they were even more vigilant. Every other day, someone would be sent to check the surroundings. Warriors of the mage imperial universe were all lunatics. They would not stop until they achieved their goals. Unless they knew it was impossible, they would keep on pursuing even if it would cost them decades. Therefore, the 2 from the mage imperial universe must be planning something bigger. It was not that they had retreated or given up. For this reason, Jun Hongye and the others have been releasing their most powerful, profound meanings. The ground near the wicked bead had turned from a basin into an abyss. Perhaps in a few hundred years, there would be an elder who would tell the later generations how this abyss was formed and how tragic the war was back then. 3 months. For 3 months, Qin Tianxian and Wu Guangda never showed up. The 5 semi-god realm warriors had been attacking for 3 months. The wicked bead was still glowing. It did not move one bit. It was indestructible. Jun Hongye and the others were exhausted, not only physically but also mentally. They had been bombarding for 3 months without any progress. Anyone would feel powerless if they were in such a situation. As a matter of fact, the 5 semi-god realm warriors did not know that they had made great progress. Only Luli knew that the energy in the wicked bead was being consumed. 30% was gone. In other words, in another 6 or 7 months, the energy in the wicked bead would run out. Luli came out from cultivation today. The 5 semi-god realm warriors did not make much progress, but Luli did. Today, the first seal of the wicked bead suddenly glowed. The bead was trembling. Though it was only a slight tremble, Luli was alarmed nonetheless. Could it be that the first seal has been broken? At first, Luli was overjoyed. But on closer inspection, he noticed that the seal was still there, just brighter. He blinked his eyes in confusion and glanced around the small hall. He then tried to sense the bead, but found nothing different. "Have I lost my mind?" Luli murmured. Then he asked the 9 Earth immortal realm warriors, "Did you feel the hall tremble?" "Yes, it did." Uncle 9 of the June family nodded. 4 of them did. Luli touched his nose in confusion. What was the meaning of the beads trembling? Was it a hint that the energy was running out? Luli thought about it for the time, for 1 incense stick to burn, and then check for an hour. Still, he found nothing. He frowned and thought for a while, then murmured suspiciously, "The bead moved? Does that mean the bead can move? Can it fly?" Luli used his mind. The wicked bead glowed and flew to the south at a moderate speed. It was slow, only as fast as a warrior at the initial stage of the eternal realm. What? The 5 old monsters outside were startled and instinctively froze. They had been attacking for such a long time, and the bead didn't move one bit. How come it was smashed away all of a sudden? Naturally, they could not react in time. No, soon, Jun Hongye came to his senses. The bead was not smashed away. It was flying to the south. "Ah ha ha, good." Jun Hongye laughed. Luli was controlling the bead to fly away. What did that mean? It meant that there was not much energy left in the bead. Luli could not hold on any longer. It meant they could crack the bead soon. Go! Chapter 757. It can fly now, but isn't the wicked bead too slow? Luli could sense the situation outside through the wicked bead. He was excited to see that the mountains on both sides were moving backward. Slow as the bead was, at least the wicked bead had gained a new ability. Whoosh, whoosh, the 5 semi-god realm warriors caught up with Luli soon. They were all excited and began to attack at the bead. The wicked bead had been motionless. Not even the powerful, profound meaning could budge the bead. Now, Luli was controlling the wicked bead to fly away. Something must be wrong. They did not know that Luli could not control the wicked bead to fly. They thought that Luli was running out of energy. Therefore, they were excited and attacked the bead like crazy. The horrifying attacks could not knock the bead down. The bead flew toward the east at a moderate speed. The city of chaos was to the east. Why am I going to the city of chaos? After a while, Luli came to his senses. Could he enter the purgatory of primordial chaos if he went to the city of chaos now? Clearly not. He would be killed as soon as he came out. Luli made up his mind and flew the bead toward the southeast. That was the territory of the Feng dynasty. The Feng dynasty and the Qi dynasty had been quiet recently. Luli wanted to stir up some trouble. There were 5 semi-god realm warriors here. Wu Guangda and Qin Tianxian made up a total of 7. The Feng dynasty and the Qi dynasty should have 7 or 8 semi-god realm warriors in total. Luli would be less stressed if he could let them fight among themselves and kill a group of semi-god realm warriors. Go on. 30% of the first layer of seal had been dissolved. The wicked bead had gained new abilities. Maybe more abilities would emerge. Luli did not control the bead anymore. He let the bead fly toward the southeast. He continued to cultivate Xian energy and poured all of it into the bead to break the seal. The bead was not fast. At this speed, it would take at least a month to reach the Feng dynasty. The 5 semi-god realm warriors behind Luli were not worried. They should be able to crack the bead in a month. They chased after the wicked bead. Several hours later, a city appeared in front of them. It was a medium-sized city. People in the city noticed the commotion. Many warriors flew up. Oh, the strongest in the city were only Renwangs. When they saw the void tremble in the distance, cracks appeared in the space, and a terrifying aura spread in all directions. They were all so frightened that their expressions changed drastically. One of them shouted, "Run!" The bead flew all the way to the city, and the people behind it kept bombarding the bead. When the bead flew past the city, wouldn't the city be razed to the ground in an instant? The martial artists in the city were so scared that they fled in all directions. The commoners didn't know what was going on, but when they saw the martial artists fleeing, they all fled out of the 4 city gates in fear. Looking from the sky, the city looked like a hornet's nest, with countless hornets fleeing in all directions. The city was in chaos. Countless people were crying and screaming. Many old people and children were trembling on the ground. To them, this was a disaster. Luli sensed something was off. He used psychic power to check and found out what was going on in the distance. He frowned and controlled the bead to change its direction. He thought the 5 semi-god realm warriors and the Feng dynasty's semi-god realm warriors were fighting each other, but it didn't mean that the civilians would be implicated. Luli's heart was as cold as steel. He could kill anyone to survive, but it didn't mean that he would ignore thousands of innocent civilians being killed. Seeing that the bead had changed its direction, those who were running away turned back at once. Some warriors in the city were relieved. The bead had changed its direction, so the city wouldn't be destroyed. The 5 semi-god realm warriors kept on attacking. They wouldn't kill civilians for no reason, which would incur public anger. If someone found an excuse to attack the semi-god realm warriors, their families would be in big trouble. Boom, boom, boom. The wicked bead made a circle and flew toward the southeast. The 5 semi-god realm warriors followed it and attacked along the way. The places where the bead flew past were in a mess. Mountains collapsed and the ground cracked. There were pits, ravines, and huge handprints everywhere. It was a ghastly sight. Hiss, hiss, those who had fled out of the city had come back. Nobody dared to go after the bead. Everyone gathered in the city in disgust. The Lung dynasty had just been wiped out. Now such a strange thing happened. The civilians were in a constant state of panic. The wicked bead flew on. It wouldn't change its direction unless it ran into a city. Luli had been dissolving the seal. He had been flying for 5 days, and he had run into more than a dozen cities. All the civilians in the cities were frightened and would flee to all directions. Only when Luli changed his direction and took a detour did the civilians come back in fear. The news spread across the entire Lung dynasty and then to the Feng dynasty and the Qi dynasty. Soon, the entire central imperial continent was in an uproar. The average families and civilians had no right to know the truth. All they knew was that several major families had worked together to wipe out the Lung dynasty for the sake of a man named Lu Li. At this moment, a few extremely powerful old monsters were chasing after a bead and attacking it. Many people were curious about this strange thing. What kind of evil thing was this bead? Or was it some kind of treasure? The 5 powerful warriors had been attacking for days and still couldn't crack the bead. Such a strange thing was unheard of. Naturally, the news spread fast. Also, every time the bead ran into a city, it would take a detour. This made people wonder, was there someone in the bead? Or was the bead a relic with intelligence? On the 7th day, the bead glowed, and then it sped up to the speed of a warrior at the initial stage of the Noble Lord realm. The 5 old warriors were confused, and Lu Li was frightened as well. Lu Li didn't do anything. He just kept on dissolving the seal. Why did the bead suddenly speed up? This made him very puzzled. Could it be that as the bead dissolved the seal, the bead would speed up? Lu Li was excited on this thought. If the bead could really move faster and faster than the 5 semi-god realm warriors, he might have a chance to escape. As long as the warriors stopped chasing him, he could fly to the city of chaos and then to the entrance of the prison of water, from the prison of gold to the heaven reverse universe. Go on. Lu Li poured in Xian energy like crazy. This time, not only did he pour in all the Xian energy he cultivated, but also the Xian energy in his spirit sea. He could cultivate again if he ran out of Xian energy. After all, he didn't have to do anything. He would be killed as soon as he went out. The bead flew to the southeast. The 5 warriors chased after it. As far as they could tell, the wicked bead was speeding up, which meant that Lu Li was desperate. The energy in the bead must be running out. The bead was about to crack. They ran into many cities along the way. Civilians in the cities stopped running because they knew the wicked bead would avoid them. Many brave warriors were still standing on the city walls, watching the warriors attacking the bead from the distance. They were amazed by this strange and shocking scene. Another 5 days passed. Something that shocked the 5 warriors happened again. The wicked bead glowed and sped up again, reaching the speed of a warrior at the initial stage of the human sovereign realm. The 5 warriors had a bad feeling about this. If the wicked bead continued to speed up for another 2 times, then the wicked bead would be as fast as them. By then, the wicked bead would be in danger. P.S. There's an accident in the unit. The old warrior is one of the leaders and is dealing with it. The updates may not be stable for the next couple of days. I will update them later. 2 chapters are owed today. Chapter 758. Yes, the bead had sped up again. It was as fast as a human sovereign realm warrior. Every time Lu Li dissolved a part of the wicked bead's seal, the bead would speed up a bit. Lu Li had been very excited recently. He had seen the hope of survival, of going home. A human sovereign realm warrior was fast enough. Of course, it was not as fast as the 5 semi-god realm warriors. However, Lu Li felt he had only dissolved less than half of the first seal. How fast would he be if he could dissolve the entire bead? He might even be faster than the semi-god realm and the 5 semi-god realm warriors, let alone the speed of a real immortal. Go on. Lu Li had been exhausted lately. He hadn't slept for a long time. However, he had no time to worry. He cultivated Xian energy like crazy and poured in Xian energy from his spirit sea as well. Originally, it would take the bead more than a month to reach the Feng dynasty. Now, the bead was much faster. In half a month at most, it would arrive at the border of the Feng dynasty. The 5 semi-god realm warriors were well aware of this. Once the bead reached the border of the Feng dynasty, things would become troublesome. By then, the Feng dynasty would have an excuse to mobilize. The major families of the Central Imperial Universe would panic. They might even work together to deal with the 5 semi-god realm warriors. As for Wu Guangda and Chun Tianxian, Jun Hongye would never believe that they had gone back. They must be hiding in a corner
waiting for the right time to show their fangs and tear them apart one by one. Warriors of the Mage Imperial Universe were not called lunatics for no reason. For revenge, they could pursue for years or even decades without stopping. We must crack the bead before we arrive at the Feng dynasty. Jun Hongya yelled. His voice was hoarse. So many had died, but they only gained some mystical materials and some quasi-relics from the Lung family. The 5 families had suffered a great loss. If they retreated now, they would become the laughingstock of other universes. They were not young anymore. They might pass away in decades or even century. How would they go down and meet their ancestors? They kept on hunting day and night. Everywhere they went, the mountains were leveled to the ground, the rivers were cut off, the plains were cracked, the forests were destroyed, and the mountains and rivers were shattered. 10 days later, the wicked bead was about to fly out of the Lung dynasty's territory. The 5 warriors were dejected. Their attacks were powerless. Today, the pearl shone brightly again, and then it sped up. The 5 divine transformation realm cultivators watched as the bead turned into a stream of light and disappeared into the distance, feeling as if their hearts had died. Apart from Jun Hongya, none of the other 4 gave chase. They felt the bead was like a mountain with no top, and they could never cross it. Go! Jun Hongya looked back at them and shouted, Why aren't you leaving? What are you standing there for? It won't be easy to catch up later. Another divine transformation realm warrior of the Jun family said bitterly, Leader, can we really break the bead? The others looked at Jun Hongya, especially those from the Rin family and the Li family. Even if the wicked bead could be cracked open, the 2 of them would not have a share. They felt it was not worth it. If they entered the Feng dynasty, they might even lose their lives. Whether we can or not, we must. Jun Hongya shouted with reddened eyes. Think about it. If someone from the Central Imperial Universe gets the bead, or if Wu Guangda or Chun Tianxian gets it, what will happen to us? What will happen to our families? Therefore, we may not be able to crack the bead anytime soon, but we will keep going until we get the bead or until we die. Jun Hongya's words had enlightened them. The other 4 looked at each other, feeling bitter. Jun Hongya was right. They were the only ones who could get the bead. Otherwise, the 4 families would be doomed eternally. They had no other choice. They could either get the bead or die fighting. I swear in the name of Emperor of Heaven Reverse. Jun Hongya said solemnly, As long as you can help me get the wicked bead, I will ensure the glory of your 3 families for 1,000,000 years. Unless the Jun family is destroyed, I will not let you down. Li family and Rin family, semi-god realm warriors were relieved. The Hao family, semi-god realm warrior, had his own thoughts, but this was not the time to talk about it. They wasted no more time. They sped up and dashed toward the wicked bead. The wicked bead sped up again. This time, it was as fast as an Earth Immortal Realm warrior. Earth Immortal Realm warriors were horrifying. It took them the time for 2 incense sticks to burn to catch up. Inside the wicked bead, Luli thought they had given up. He pouted when he saw the 5 warriors coming. That being said, he was not worried anymore. There was still plenty of energy in the bead, enough for them to keep on blasting for half a year. The wicked bead was as fast as an Earth Immortal Realm warrior. If it could grow again, it might be as fast as a semi-god realm warrior. They were about to arrive at the Feng dynasty. Luli did not believe that the Feng family would allow the 5 semi-god realm warriors to blast at their territory. Luli did not have much Xian energy left in his spirit sea. He stopped pouring Xian energy into the wicked bead. In 3 days at most, they would arrive at the Feng dynasty. He was right. 3 days later, Luli passed by a city. There was no longer a flag of the Lung dynasty. Instead, there was a flag of the 6-clawed golden python. They must have arrived at the Feng dynasty. Let's do something. Luli made up his mind. The wicked bead didn't fly in a straight line anymore. The wicked bead moved to the east and then to the west. The 5 semi-god realm warriors were chasing after the wicked bead and blasting at random places. There are some scouts over there. How dare they come so close? Luli used psychic power to detect some scouts hiding in a mountain. They must be from the Feng dynasty. Luli made up his mind and flew the wicked bead over. The 5 semi-god realm warriors followed up. It was too late for the scouts to run away. They were blasted into pieces at once. Luli would not implicate civilians. He would not feel guilty no matter how many warriors died. Since they dared to come here, they must be prepared to die. What was more, he didn't kill them. I think the city of Feng is at the north of the Feng dynasty. Luli had seen a map of the Central Imperial Universe before. He grinned coldly. He believed that if he went to the city of Feng with the 5 semi-god realm warriors and blasted the city, the Feng family warriors would stand by and do nothing. Let's go. Luli flew the wicked bead toward the city of Feng. He must cause the semi-god realm warriors to fight in order to have a chance to escape. Otherwise, his bead would be cracked sooner or later. Along the way, Luli would not show mercy to any warriors he met. Since they were fearless and dared to come and watch the show, they must be prepared to die. This was not a show that average people could enjoy. The wicked bead was fast. The warriors were chasing after the wicked bead. By the time they noticed that someone was ahead of them, the wicked bead would have launched its attack. Those warriors were not powerful and could not dodge. This punk is trying to provoke the Feng dynasty into a war against us. The Jun family semi-god realm warriors said to Jun Hongya with concern. Jun Hongya sighed and said, "By coming here, we have already provoked the Feng family. If the Feng family does not dare to do anything, they will not do anything even if we have to slaughter several cities, let alone these few. So, let's leave it to fate." Chapter 759. The city of Feng was full of noise these days. The news that the wicked bead and the 5 semi-god realm warriors had entered the Feng dynasty had reached the city of Feng. Some people in the city were terrified, but more people were furious. Previously, the 6 families had 12 semi-god realm warriors and more than 100 earth immortal realm warriors. Jun Hongya's words deterred the families in the Feng dynasty from making any reckless moves. That being said, only 5 of the 12 semi-god realm warriors were left. The 2 families of the Mage Imperial Universe had rebelled. How dare they attack the Feng dynasty with only 5 semi-god realm warriors? Did these 5 really think that the Feng dynasty was a pushover? Did he really think that there was no one in the Central Imperial Universe that he could bully at will? Inside a castle in the city, people were arguing. The crippled Zen master didn't want to help, so the Feng family ancestor and the chief family ancestor didn't dare to help. But now, the patriarchs of the 2 families were tempted. Didn't Yin Xingxi say that divine items depended on fate? Now, the wicked bead was flying toward the city of Feng. Was it fate? 5 spirit-severing realm old monsters were bombarding the Feng dynasty indiscriminately. According to the intelligence, they had killed many people. If they were allowed to continue, who knew how many people would die? If the wicked bead flew to the city of Feng, would they let the 5 warriors bombard it at will? If they didn't retaliate after being trampled on, the morale of the great clans would crumble. By that time, if the Feng dynasty was wiped out, the Qi dynasty would follow soon. In the end, the Central Imperial Universe would fall into the hands of alien races. Let's wait for another 5 days. The Feng family progenitor stood up all of a sudden and said, "If we wait for 5 more days and the wicked bead is still coming this way, it will prove that the relic is destined to be with us. By then, we will work together to fight for the bead. Third brother, bring some people and teleport to the vicinity of Primal Chaos City. Wait for my orders in 5 days. Take down Primal Chaos City and seal the passageway." Yes. A spirit-severing old monster hurried out. Qi family patriarch looked at Feng family patriarch and said, "Have you made up your mind?" The Feng family ancestor nodded and said, "Let's get the pearl first. After that, we'll fight for it with our own abilities. Whoever gets the pearl first will get it, and we can't kill each other. We will make a blood oath to protect the honor of all families of the Central Imperial Universe for 1,000,000 years." "All right." Qi family progenitor nodded. The other family's progenitor warriors said nothing more. At this moment, if they could not unite, the Central Imperial Universe would be doomed eternally.
The patriarchs of the various families sent people back to spread the news and make arrangements for all sorts of things. If something unexpected happened this time, the various families would be able to react in time and move their disciples away in advance so that they wouldn't be completely annihilated. The Feng family began to calculate the area where the wicked bead could reach in 5 days. They evacuated warriors and civilians from nearby cities in case they would be implicated in the war. At the same time, many scouts were sent out. Spies were planted in more than a dozen regions around the battlefield. If a war were to break out, the 5 semi-god realm warriors must all be eliminated. If 1 or 2 of them were to escape, it would be a catastrophe for the Central Imperial Universe. Many would be killed by the semi-god realm warriors that escaped. Countless families in the Feng dynasty started to move. They started to make all sorts of arrangements and prepare for war. Because the pearl was flying towards Great Imperial Feng City, there shouldn't be any accidents. Naturally, the wicked bead would not change directions. Luli had planned to fly to the city of Feng anyway. 5 days later, the wicked bead flew over a huge mountain. Ahead of them was a city. Luli planned to fly the wicked bead around. However, when he checked from the distance, he realized that it was an empty city. None of the cities they passed by were empty. Luli had some doubts. He flew the wicked bead toward the city. The 5 followed him. Family patriarch, something is wrong. The semi-god realm warrior of the Jun family noticed something was wrong. Jun Hongye had made sure that nobody was in the city. He used psychic power to check. Soon, he narrowed his eyes and pulled a long face. He said coldly, "The bastard of the Feng family is here." Whoosh! On the horizon, 3 people were flying over. All of them were brimming with energy, as if they were afraid that others didn't know how powerful they were. "They are finally here." Luli smiled when he saw the 3 semi-god realm warriors. He believed that the Feng family was not here to negotiate. There must be more than 3 semi-god realm warriors. Luli stopped the wicked bead on the spot. Jun Hongye and the others stopped their attacks and waited for the Feng family warriors to arrive. Jun Hongye looked at the 3 in the distance. The others began to check the surroundings to see if there were any ambushes. Whoosh! The 3 old bastards flew to the city. In the front was the Feng family progenitor warrior. First, he looked at the wicked bead emotionlessly. Then, he turned to Jun Hongye and said, "Family patriarch Jun, this is the Feng dynasty. Please leave at once, or you will be treated as an invasion." He was being polite before resorting to force. His tone was unkind. Clearly, he was prepared. Jun Hongye sighed to himself. "Progenitor Feng, you should know that our 6 families have cut off all means of retreat. If you insist on stopping us, you should know what will happen to the Long family." 6 families? Feng family progenitor warrior sneered. "Where are Wu Guangde and Chen Tianxian? Ask them to come out." Jun Hongye, are you insulting my intelligence or yourself? Jun Hongye and the others looked at each other. They knew that Feng family and Qi family were ready. A fight was inevitable. They could either leave or fight to the death. Jun Hongye didn't start the fight rashly. Instead, he was regulating his breaths. They hadn't rested for a while, and they were exhausted. They needed a short break to recover. Therefore, he tried to buy some time. "Progenitor Feng, do you think we can cooperate? If so, let's talk." Feng family progenitor warrior was not worried that Jun Hongye was stalling for time. He had crushed a jade talisman, and his semi-god realm warriors were attacking the City of Chaos. Once the City of Chaos was taken, the Central Imperial Universe would become a huge urn. They could kill the 5 semi-god realm warriors at will. Feng family progenitor warrior sneered. His wrinkled face twitched as he asked, "How do you want to cooperate?" Jun Hongye said, "Help me get the bead. You can name your price." "Me?" Feng family progenitor warrior's face twitched even more. He grinned and said, "What if we want the Earth Imperial Universe? Will you give it to us? Can you be more sincere?" Jun Hongye said in a serious tone, "Progenitor Feng, I am talking to you seriously. I'm serious as well." Feng family progenitor laughed and said, "Do you think a relic for the Earth Imperial Universe is not worth it?" Jun Hongye,
I don't think you are sincere enough. Jun Hongye and the others forced a smile. They were right. There was no need to talk. They could either fight or leave. Leave? This word came to Jun Hongye's mind, and then Jun Mengchen's face. Jun Hongye seemed to be in pain. All of a sudden, killing intent surged out from him as he shouted, "Do it! Kill the three of them first!" Whoosh, whoosh, the five broke through the encirclement and dashed toward Foam family progenitor warrior and the other two like five dragons. Right at that moment, there was a noise coming from three directions. Three semi-god realm warriors came out from each of the other three directions. All of them were charging toward Foam family. Ha ha ha. Chapter 760. 12 semi-god realm warriors against 5 semi-god realm warriors. Unless the 5 semi-god realm warriors had nature-defying abilities, or one of them had earth-shattering combat abilities, there was basically no suspense. Jun Hongye and the others were average semi-god realm warriors. Apart from Jun Hongye, who had learned a 9th rank profound meaning, the others only had 8th rank ones. Jun Hongye and the semi-god realm warriors of the Hao family had 9th rank bloodlines, but so did the Foam family and the Qi family. Therefore, the outcome of the battle was already decided at the beginning. There was almost no suspense. As expected, Lu Li retreated as soon as the battle began. By staying here, he was starting a war. Since the two sides had started, they wouldn't stop. Why wouldn't he leave? Why would he stay for dinner? Whoosh! The wicked bead flew toward the east instead of the city of Foam. Jun Hongye and the other 4 wanted to go after the wicked bead, but they had to save their own lives first. Foam family, Qi family, and other powerful warriors of the Central Imperial Universe didn't stop Lu Li. They couldn't even if they wanted to. They just let Lu Li go. Boom! 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 From behind them came a loud noise of explosion. Through the wicked bead, Lu Li could sense that the space behind them was trembling. Huge cracks in space were tearing up the sky. Needless to say, the battle was tragic. Jun Hongye and the other 4 might lose their lives in the city of hell. No one followed me? How about we go straight to Primal Chaos City? After the time for half an incense stick to burn, Lu Li realized that there were no semi-god realm warriors chasing after him. He had an idea. He was not far away from the city of chaos. Jun Hongye and those from the Central Imperial Universe were fighting. If he was lucky enough to arrive at the City of Chaos and there were no semi-god realm warriors there, he could send out some Earth immortal realm warriors and then dash into the purgatory of primordial chaos. As long as he could reach the primal chaos purgatory, everything else would be easy to handle. He would return the dragon to the sea and the bird to the sky. Once he successfully entered the water prison, he would be completely safe. Since Earth immortal realm experts couldn't enter, why should he be afraid of a human sovereign? Let's go. Let's take a look around Primal Chaos City and see what's going on. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If worst came to worst, he could stay and wander around in the Central Imperial Universe. The wicked bead could fly as fast as an Earth immortal realm warrior. It would take them 3 to 4 days at most to reach the City of Chaos. What Lu Li didn't know was that, in the mountains down below, there were scouts lurking everywhere. Those scouts all carried a special stone that could release a kind of inhibition formation. If one didn't look carefully, they would be hard to notice. Lu Li was in a hurry to get to the City of Chaos. Even if some scouts noticed him, they wouldn't care. Send a message to 3rd Progenitor. Lu Li is heading toward the City of Chaos. A scout leader came out from the cave he was hiding in after Lu Li flew away. A scout next to him crushed a jade talisman at once to inform Lu Li. On his way to the City of Chaos, Lu Li was surrounded by scouts. The Foam family had set up a trap. Lu Li's whereabouts were in the Foam family's hands. They were just waiting for Lu Li to fall into their trap. The battle at the City of Hell was in full swing. Jun Hongye and the others were fighting with their backs to the wall. There was no way out. Either they beat back the warriors of the Central Imperial Universe, or they would die here. Their only advantage was their unity and willingness to risk their lives. They believed that as long as they could kill some powerful warriors of the Foam family and the Qi family,
the other families wouldn't risk their lives. After all, they were not united. They had a way out. That was what the 5 of them did. They worked together to attack 3 warriors of the Feng family. At the cost of 4 wounded, they succeeded in killing a semi-god realm warrior of the Feng family. Then, the 5 of them turned around and began to attack a Qi family progenitor warrior. Another semi-god realm warrior of the Jun family died. Jun Hongye killed a Qi family progenitor warrior with his halberd. In the time for a dozen breaths, 2 semi-god realm warriors were killed. The 5's madness had stunned the other semi-god realm warriors of the Central Imperial Universe. The 5 had no regard for their own lives. It was as if they had become lunatics of the Mage Imperial Universe. That being said, Jun Hongye had underestimated the determination of the Qi family, the Feng family, and the other families of the Central Imperial Universe. They didn't have a way out, but neither did the Central Imperial Universe. If the wicked bead was taken by Jun Hongye, then the entire Central Imperial Universe would be plunged into a bloodbath. Even the ancestral lands where the families were hiding might be found. Therefore, the death of 2 semi-god realm warriors of the Central Imperial Universe didn't make them want to retreat. Instead, they were aroused. If Jun Hongye and the others wanted to die, then so be it. The semi-god realm warriors of the Central Imperial Universe began to put up a desperate fight. There were more than a dozen of them, and they couldn't kill the 5? If the news got out, the families would be disgraced. Jun Hongye and the others felt the pressure was multiplied as the powerful warriors of the families fought with their lives on the line. There were only 4 of them left. Faced with attacks from all sides, their hands were tied. Unless they were prepared to die with one of them, or else they would have to dodge and resist. Naturally, Jun Hongye didn't want to die. Neither did the Li family patriarch. The 2 were the pillars of their families. Their deaths would bring chaos to their families. They were united at first. However, when 1 or 2 of them were afraid of death, the tables were turned. The formation was disrupted, making it harder for them to fight back. The semi-god realm warrior of the Hao family was already injured. His quasi-relic was broken by the joint attack of the Qi family and the Feng family progenitor. He fell down like a kite with a broken string. 2 semi-god realm warriors went after him and bombarded the Hao family semi-god realm warrior. The Hao family semi-god realm warrior was either dead or not far from it. Jun Hongye and the Li family patriarch looked at each other. Both of them wanted to retreat. Just because Jun Hongye wanted to retreat didn't mean he would give up on the wicked bead. He just wanted to avoid the fight for the time being. "Let's go," Jun Hongye yelled. He generated a stream of energy which washed away the 3 semi-god realm warriors in front of him like a wave. Jun Hongye flew away and soon vanished into the horizon. "Brother Rin, run." On the other side, the Li family patriarch began to run away. He vanished in midair and reappeared 300 miles away. Next, he disappeared from the sky once more, only to reappear 500 kilometers away. He continued to teleport and flee. Seeing that Jun Hongye and the Li family patriarch had run away, the Rin family Earth Immortal Rel warrior cursed the females of the Jun family and the Li family. Didn't they say they would fight to the death? Didn't they say they would advance and retreat together? The Rin family Earth Immortal Realm warrior felt his mind was weighed down as he looked at those around him who were staring at him with hostility. Swish, swish, horrifying attacks came from all sides. Soon, the Rin family semi-god realm warrior was drowned. It was too late for him to run away. Soon he was killed. The few semi-god realm warriors who flew down from below flew up. The semi-god realm warriors of the Hao family had been killed. Go! The Feng family progenitor's face was glowing. Even though a semi-god realm warrior of his family had died, the situation was under his control. Even if Jun Hongye and the Li family patriarch had run away, an area with a radius of 300 miles was his people. As long as he could kill the 2 in a couple of days, everything would be fine. More importantly, Luli had controlled the wicked bead to fly toward the City of Chaos. Everything was going according to his plan. Luli thought that since all the semi-god realm warriors of the Central Imperial Universe were here and there were no powerful warriors in the City of Chaos, it would be a good way to escape.
As a matter of fact, there were 3 more semi-god realm warriors in the City of Chaos. The Feng family progenitor had set up a trap. He was waiting for Lu Li to jump into it. P.S. I will return the 2 chapters 10 next week. I've been so busy these days. I'm having a headache. Chapter 761. Feng family progenitor's plan was perfect. If everything went as he expected, in a few days, Jun Hongye and the Li family patriarch would be killed, and so would Lu Li. The wicked bead would fall into the hands of Feng family semi-god realm warriors. Unfortunately, the Feng family progenitor had overestimated his ability in planning. They had been taking teleportation formations to besiege Jun Hongye and the Li family patriarch, but the two always managed to escape. Jun Hongye had a 9th-rank bloodline and a 9th-rank profound meaning. It would be easy for him to break out of the encirclement when he risked his life. The patriarch of the Li family had a terrifying space Upanishad, space piercing. This profound meaning was of the 8th rank, which was different from the ordinary greater teleportation. Ordinary teleportation and great teleportation techniques would require a period of time to pause, and they would need to rest after a few times. However, the Li clan's patriarch didn't need to. The Li family patriarch could pierce through space continuously. It was too difficult to kill him. The most important thing was that the spatial distance he had pierced through was too far, 1,000 miles in one go. No one could catch up to him so quickly. There were scouts from the Feng family and Qi family in the nearby regions, so they could immediately report their whereabouts. However, once the two of them rushed out of these large regions, there wouldn't be many scouts left, and it would be difficult to immediately lock onto their whereabouts. The Central Imperial Universe was vast with many mountains and hills. If the two were to hide in the mountains, how could regular scouts find them? Even if a human sovereign were to search, he would not be able to find the two of them. Once the two went into hiding, it would be a catastrophe for the Central Imperial Universe. At the very least, the disciples and families of several families would suffer. With the reputation of these 2 old monsters, they would definitely retaliate crazily. How many people would die at that time? This was just bad news. This matter was not too serious. After all, there was still hope of killing it. There was another piece of news that the Feng family and the Qi family couldn't accept. Primal Chaos City hadn't been taken down. Furthermore, the 3 semi-god realm cultivators and over a dozen Earth immortal realm cultivators were all killed in the battle. The Qi family and the Feng family didn't even know who the enemy was. They only knew that the jade talismans of life of the 3 semi-god realm cultivators and those Earth immortal realm cultivators were broken, and they all died. The situation suddenly went out of control. An unfamiliar enemy had appeared, and the situation was completely unknown. The 2 clans had many scouts in Primal Chaos City, but these scouts had not sent any news. There were only 2 possibilities. Either there was no one left alive in Primal Chaos City, or Primal Chaos City was under absolute control. No news could be transmitted out. Wu Guangda and Chun Tianxian, Feng family ancestor and Qi family ancestor, had 2 people in their minds. These 2 people had disappeared for a long time without any news. They did not believe that the 2 had given up. The lunatics of the Mage Imperial Universe would not give up so easily. Are the families of the Mage Imperial Universe working together? Or will the Wu and Chun families come out in full force? Everyone thought of a possibility. No matter what the situation was, it was not a good thing. Also, Lu Li was flying toward the City of Chaos like an idiot. If the wicked bead was taken, then the Central Imperial Universe would be doomed. Send all the scouts to Primal Chaos City. The Feng family old ancestor roared. No matter how many people die, we have to get to the bottom of the situation. An unknown enemy was always so scary. Without figuring out the situation, the Feng family patriarch couldn't even sleep. After that, they continued to hunt down Jun Hongye and Li family patriarch. The 2 had to be killed, or they would be in trouble. Lu Li was about to arrive at the City of Chaos. He did not know what was going on in the city.
nor did he know that the Foam family and the Chi family had set up a trap in the city. However, the trap did not work. Instead, he fell into a bigger trap. Luli did notice that many scouts were swarming toward the City of Chaos. He sped up and flew toward the City of Chaos. He didn't overthink it. In the wicked bead were 9 Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves. He didn't teleport them to their deaths because he wanted to play a role at the critical moment. As long as he could enter the purgatory of primordial chaos, Luli would not hesitate even if the 9 Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves had to die. He had the Featherwind. As long as there were no semi-god realm warriors in the City of Chaos, he was confident that he could go into the purgatory of primordial chaos. Listen up. When they were about to enter the City of Chaos, Luli said, "When I give the order, you must do everything you can to send me into the purgatory of primordial chaos. If I cannot go in, you will all die." The 9 Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves nodded. Luli asked Lung Wuxin, who was still making pellets, "You know how to activate the teleportation formation to enter the purgatory of primordial chaos, right?" Lung Wuxin nodded. "That is easy. I can activate the teleportation formation as soon as I get in." Okay. Luli was relieved. He told Lung Wuxin to stop her work, and the other 9 Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves should be ready for battle at any time. On the horizon, an ancient city came into sight. Luli could see the situation outside through the wicked bead, and he could see it more clearly. The wicked bead was fast. In a blink, they had entered the city. The city was not in chaos, but many civilians were in a state of panic. Luli could see that some civilians were unsettled. It seemed that the city was still under the control of the 6 families. Luli used psychic power at once to sense the powerful warriors in the city. If there were semi-god realm warriors in the city, Luli would not stop or go out. Whoosh, 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 6 people flew up and flew toward the wicked bead. All of them were at the Earth Immortal Realm. Luli felt refreshed after he made sure that none of them were at the semi-god realm. 6 Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves were not too much for him. He could deal with them as long as he sent out his 9 Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves. In the time for a few breaths, he could rush into the teleportation formation. Lung Wuxin could activate the teleportation formation and teleport them to the purgatory of primordial chaos in an instant. Luli was careful. He did not act rashly. Instead, he flew the wicked bead around the city. The 6 Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves followed him and tried to control or stop the wicked bead. The 6 Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves did not attack at random. Otherwise, many in the city would be killed by mistake. No one. There are no powerful warriors in hiding. Luli flew around the city. He was overjoyed to make sure that there were no semi-god realm warriors in the city. He decided to take the risk. As long as he could make it into the purgatory of primordial chaos, he could enter the wicked bead right away. Then he could fly to the entrance of the prison of water, and everything would be fine. What? When Luli flew past the castle, he saw a flag waving outside the castle. On the flag were the words, "Sing, E-Pavilion." Somehow, Luli felt the words were familiar. Enchantment. He remembered at once that Enchantment once told him that he could go to any Sing E-Pavilion to find her. Luli used psychic power to check the Sing E-Pavilion because of the familiarity. What? When he used psychic power to check the castle, he found something else. In the yard of the castle, a maid was holding a wooden hairpin in her hand. She stared at the wicked bead, raised the wooden hairpin high, and kept shaking her head. In her other hand, she was holding a piece of paper with 4 words written on it. Zen Mountain. The hairpin looked familiar. Luli's interspatial ring glowed as a wooden hairpin appeared in his hand. It was the same hairpin given to him by Enchantment. Something is wrong. Luli came to his senses at once. Enchantment would not send someone to warn him for no reason. The maid kept shaking her head. It was clear that this place was not safe, and they should leave for the Zen Mountain as soon as possible. Let's go. Chapter 762. All of a sudden, the wicked bead flew out of the city. The 6 Earth Immortal Realm warriors were taken aback. They had been focusing on the bead, so they didn't notice what was going on down there. What was more, the wicked bead was flying too fast for Luli to stop. The wicked bead was fast. In a few blinks, it was out of the city. The 6 Earth Immortal Realm warriors wondered what had gone wrong. One of them made up his mind. He crushed a jade talisman in his hand and shouted at the same time. Buzzing, as the jade talisman was crushed, the teleportation formation connecting the city to the purgatory of primordial chaos glowed. 8 powerful warriors came out from the teleportation formation. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At the same time, several castles in the city glared as more than a dozen people flew out. At the front were Qin Tianxian and Wu Guangda. There is an ambush. Through the wicked bead, Luli saw so many powerful warriors. He was taken aback. The castles in the city had strong formations of illusion that could hide the semi-god realm warriors. Also, there were powerful warriors hiding in the purgatory of primordial chaos. If he teleported to the purgatory of primordial chaos, the consequences would be unimaginable. Luckily, Yin Qingxi sent someone to warn me. Luli's forehead was soaked in cold sweat. There were more than 20 semi-god realm warriors. Once he left the wicked bead, he would be killed immediately. He was carried away by the desire to go home. He had some fantasies that could be fatal. Let's go. Luli could not stay any longer. He flew the wicked bead to the distance. He was curious about Yin Qingxi's background. How dare she send someone to warn him? Wasn't she afraid that the powerful warriors of the Mage Imperial Universe would wipe out her family? Also, why did she ask him to go to the Zen Mountain? Could he stay alive at the Zen Mountain? Boom, 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 boom. Wu Guangda and Qin Tianxian rushed over with the 23 semi-god realm warriors and began to blast at the bead. They were angry. Luli was about to go to the purgatory of primordial chaos. Why did he change his mind? What exactly went wrong? But Wu Guangda and Qin Tianxian were not in a hurry. The Mage Imperial Universe had sent out all their forces this time. This force had the upper hand. They could conquer the Central Imperial Universe and then take their time to take the wicked bead. Luli felt the pressure when more than 20 semi-god realm warriors attacked the bead at the same time. The energy was being consumed fast. At this rate, in 3 or 4 months at most, the wicked bead would be cracked open. Crippled Sky Mountain Range. Luli asked Lung Wuxin, "Where is the Zen Mountain?" Lung Wuxin frowned, wondering why Luli would ask this. Wasn't he going to enter the primal chaos purgatory? Why are we going to the Crippled Sky Mountain Range? She took out a map, walked to Luli, and said, "Here. We are not far from the City of Chaos." The Zen Sky Mountain Range was tens of thousands of miles away from the Chaos City, at the border between the Qi Dynasty and the Feng Dynasty. Luli took a look and flew the wicked bead toward the Zen Mountain. He asked anxiously, "How much do you know about the Zen Mountain Range? Do you know Yin Qingxi?" Yin Qingxi? Heavenly Blind Lady. Lung Wuxi knew a lot. Her position in the family was not bad, so it was only natural that she knew some secrets. Moreover, she had fought with Yin Qingxi before. Her family had given her some instructions. She thought about it and said, "Luli, do you know Yin Qingxi?" If she could ask the crippled Zen master to help her, then nobody in the Central Imperial Universe would have the courage to lay a finger on her. The crippled Zen master alone could defeat all the powerful warriors of the Central Imperial Universe. Well, Yin Qingxi is an orphan adopted by the crippled Zen master. She's his offspring. She alone could defeat the Central Imperial Universe? Luli was surprised. He said with excitement, "Tell me more." Lung Wuxin didn't know too much or too little. She picked up what she knew and told the crippled Zen master. She was certain that the crippled Zen master was powerful. He deserved to be the most powerful warrior of the Central Imperial Universe, and he was well known in the other universes. Luli didn't hesitate after he heard everything. He flew the wicked bead on. According to Lung Wuxin, the crippled Zen master was a dying man. He was going to die 3,000 years ago. How long could he live even if he could? He had no offspring, and he only adopted Yin Qingxi. Therefore, he would not covet the wicked bead. Inqingxi must have asked Lu Li to go to the Zen mountain to help him. Somehow, Lu Li trusted this heavenly blind, and she trusted Lu Li as well. The bond between them was special. With more than 20 semi-god realm warriors following him, Lu Li had no other choice but to go to the Zen mountain. For the wicked bead, the distance of tens of thousands of miles was fast. In the time for 3 incense sticks to burn, Lu Li saw a towering mountain range. The wicked bead dashed into the Zen mountain like a shooting star. As soon as the wicked bead entered the mountain, the entire mountain was covered in a thick white mist. The entire mountain was obscured. Psychic power could not be used to see anything. Nice! Lu Li was delighted. The inhibition formation was so strong that it could be as powerful as the formation of illusion of the Shadowland race. Needless to say, the inhibition formation must have been built by the crippled Zen master himself. The inhibition formation was activated to welcome and protect Lu Li. Without any hesitation, Lu Li flew the wicked bead into the thick fog. He dashed around without caring about the direction. Soon he was in the thick fog. What? Wu Guangda and the others who were following Lu Li were shocked. Even with their psychic power, they could not see what was going on in the white fog. Who was the one who built the inhibition formation in the white fog? It was so strong. Chen Tianxian took out a map and took a look. He said with an awful face, "This is the Zen mountain. The crippled Zen master lives here." The crippled Zen master? Wu Guangda and the others had heard of this name. The other semi-god realm warriors looked at each other, solemn. It was said that he was the most powerful warrior in the Central Imperial Universe. Anyone would feel troubled. A red-haired old man snorted and said, "I don't care if he is the crippled Zen master or the crippled Zen master. I will send him to hell if he dares to snatch food from the tiger's mouth. Split up. Don't let that punk run away. The rest of you, blast the inhibition formation open." The fog was so thick that they could not see what was going on down there. If they dashed down, they could be assassinated by the crippled Zen master one by one. Wu Guangda and Chen Tianxia nodded. The mage Imperial Universe had turned out in full force. If they were to shrink back and return in failure because of one crippled Zen master, then what prestige would the mage Imperial Universe have? Whoosh, 4 semi-god realm warriors flew away and patrolled around the Zen mountain in case Lu Li slipped away. The others stood in the sky with pride. Wu Guangda thought about it and shouted, "Crippled Zen master, we do not mean to offend you. We are only after Lu Li. Turn off the inhibition formation. We will leave after we capture him." Silence prevailed in the mountain. Not a single sound could be heard. They stared at the thick fog down there. After the time for a dozen breaths, they were all furious. The crippled Zen master did not respond, which was a silent slap to their faces. Attack! Blast the mountain to the ground. The red-haired old man was hot-tempered. He could not hold it in any longer. He smashed at the mountain. The others had no more concerns. They began to blast at the mountain, using all kinds of bloodline, profound meanings, and secret skills, trying to crack the inhibition formation and flatten the mountain. However, what happened next shocked everyone. How ferocious were their attacks? They could destroy a city or flatten a mountain at will. However, when such horrifying attacks landed in the fog, it was like punching into water. What was more, there was not even a ripple. Wu Guangda and the others were dumbfounded for a moment. Chen Tianxian murmured in shock, "Is this the legendary ancient divine formation?" P.S. Finally, I have taken care of the unit's business today. Tomorrow, the update will be stable. Today was 2 chapters. Altogether, I owe 3 chapters. I will make it up next week. Chapter 763. Ancient Divine Formation, as the name suggested, was a formation from the ancient times. It had been lost for a long time. Otherwise, the warriors of the Mage Imperial Universe wouldn't be so shocked. The ancient divine formation had the word divine in it. Anything that was related to the word divine must be powerful. In the universes, there were some dangerous places and relics that had ancient divine formations. Those formations could not be cracked. unless they melted automatically after a long period of time. Otherwise, humans could not crack them. If there was an ancient divine formation down there, then the chances of cracking it would be very low unless they kept blasting at it for decades or even 100 years. The semi-god realm warriors of the mage imperial universe did not believe it. They paused for a moment and then continued to blast at the formation. They all used horrifying, profound meanings. However, no matter how horrifying the attack was, it was like mud flowing into the sea. The attack disappeared into the white mist. There was no explosion, no fluctuation. What's more, the white mist was not thinner at all. Keep going. The red-haired old man gritted his teeth and went on. They had been attacking for the time, for one incense stick to burn. Still, nothing happened in the white mist. They looked at each other, speechless. They did not know what to do. Retreat? All the powerful warriors of the mage imperial universe had come out. If they retreated, they would become the laughingstock of the 4 major universes and 5 minor universes. They could not accept such a failure. How could they crack the ancient divine formation if they did not retreat? They thought about it. An old man shouted after a while, "Isn't there an old man in the Neverland universe who knows about the ancient divine formation? Why don't we ask him to come and have a try?" Wu Guangda remembered. His eyes glowed and he asked, "You mean the infinity?" "Yes." The old man nodded and said, "The old man is not good at fighting, but he has been studying inhibition formations for 2,000 years. If he cannot crack the ancient divine formation, then there is nothing we can do." "Okay." Wu Guangda waved his hand to someone and said, "Go and talk to the infinity. If the price is right, we can agree to his terms and see what happens after we crack the formation." A semi-god realm warrior flew away. The city of chaos was close, but it would take some time to get to the Neverland universe. Wu Guangda and the others were not worried that the infinity would turn them down. The Neverland universe was just a small universe. They did not have the courage to say no to the mage imperial universe. "Keep going." Wu Guangda waved his hand. It was fine for everyone to just stand there, so they might as well attack the ancient divine array. What if they accidentally broke it? Above the white mist, and within the white mist were 2 different worlds. When Luli flew into the white haze, he realized that there was no white haze inside. He could see everything clearly. He flew the wicked bead around the Zen mountain and found the Zen valley easily. The Zen sky valley was too beautiful. The scenery was picturesque. There were bamboo forests, a sea of flowers, a pond, a river, a pavilion, and a wooden house. This was a paradise. In the paradise, there was a beautiful woman sitting in a pavilion and playing the zither. The faint sound of the zither was like pearls falling on a jade plate, and it echoed in the valley for a long time. In Qingxi, when Luli saw that beautiful face, he was at peace and a smile appeared on his face. When he looked up into the sky and saw that there was no semi-god realm cultivator in the white mist, he felt even calmer. In Qingxi was sitting there and playing the zither leisurely. Couldn't a group of semi-god realm cultivators break the inhibition outside? The crippled Zen master was so powerful. Luli flew the wicked bee down and hovered outside the pavilion. He did not go out at once. Instead, he used psychic power to check the valley. This was his instinct to be cautious. He was in a perilous situation. If he was careless, he could be doomed eternally. Young Master Lu, In Qingxi, stopped playing the zither. She looked up at the wicked bead with a gentle smile. Standing up, she said, "Welcome to the Zen Valley. It is safe here. Please trust me." Luli paused for a moment. Then, he teleported out from the wicked bead. Standing outside the pavilion, he nodded and said, "Young Lady Yin, it has been a while." In Qingxi's smile grew wider when she saw that Luli had come out just like that and trusted her so much. She waved her hand, and a cyan-robed man took away the zither. Then, several maids came with food and wine. She said, "Young Master Lu, I still owe you a drink. Please sit down and try the plum blossom wine that I brewed in person." Luli sat across the stone table. He picked up a goblet of light red wine and sniffed. "There is indeed the fragrance of plum blossoms. It is my honor to taste the wine that you brewed in person, young Lady Yin." Good wine. Luli took a sip. He seemed to be intoxicated. He sipped the wine leisurely, not caring about anything else. He was enjoying the wine as if this was his backyard. He had forgotten that there were more than 20 semi-god realm warriors in the sky, trying to kill him at any moment. The inhibition formation in the sky was strong. The semi-god realm warriors were bombarding the mist, but they could not hear anything from inside. All they could hear was the sound of running water. Inqingxi used psychic power to see that Lu Li was drinking leisurely and enjoying the wine. She put on a beautiful smile and said, "Young Master Lu, you are a wonderful man. Aren't you afraid that the inhibition formation in the Zen Valley cannot stop you? Or are you not afraid that I will harm you?" Lu Li didn't hold back at all. He poured himself another goblet and drank before he said, "I trust you." These words explained everything. Inqingxi blushed. She picked up her goblet with both hands and said, "Young Master Lu, I propose a toast to you for what you said." The two goblets clinked and they drained the wine. Lu Li looked around and praised, "Beautiful mountains, beautiful rivers, and beautiful families. Only a paradise like the Zen Valley can raise a beauty like you, young Lady Yin." Inqingxi blushed again. She shook her head with a smile and said, "Beautiful or not, it is just a body. Young Master Lu, are you unwilling to be friends with me if I am not beautiful? When I say beautiful, it is not only the body." Lu Li stared at Inqingxi and said, "It is also the soul. Take Lung Wuxin, the young lady of the Lung family, for example. She is beautiful as well, but her soul is not as beautiful as young Lady Yin. That being said, it is human nature to pursue beauty. For example, the valley is so beautiful. Don't you feel comfortable living here? If you have to choose between a beautiful body and an ugly one, will you choose the ugly one?" Inqingxi thought about it for a while. She poured herself a goblet of wine, drank it up, and said, "I am being biased. I will drink as a punishment." Lu Li drank with her before he said seriously, "Young Lady Yin, I heard that there's a hermit living in the Zen Valley. Can I have the honor to meet him?" Inqingxi shook her head and said, "It has been years since I received a guest. Young Master Lu, don't be shy. Just stay here. As for the group of people outside, just ignore them. With just them, they still can't break the fog array inside the mountain." "That is impressive," Lu Li exclaimed. "Not even more than 20 semi-god realm warriors could crack the formation. Was it a formation from the divinity?" Lu Li nodded and said, "Young Lady Yin, you have saved my life again. It is hard to say who owes whom." "Then let's not talk about it." Inqingxi shook her head with a smile. "It is the same for friends to help each other. I have never had a friend since I was a kid. Young Master Lu, you are the only one." Chapter 764. Inqingxi was mysterious, but the crippled Zen master was even more so. The Zen Valley had many secrets. But Inqingxi did not tell Lu Li. Lu Li would not ask or use psychic power to check. Lu Li and Inqingxi drank in the pavilion for an hour. None of the more than 20 semi-god realm warriors came in, which put Lu Li's mind at ease. What should he do next? Lu Li had no idea. At the very least, he was safe for now. Inqingxi had bought him some time. He had enough time to take control of the wicked bead. If he could crack the seals of the wicked bead, Lu Li's abilities would be greatly enhanced. "Young Master Lu," pointing to a cabin, Inqingxi said, "You can stay here. You can stay as long as you want. You will be absolutely safe in the Zen Valley. Of this, you can rest assured." Inqingxi's reiteration put Lu Li's mind at ease. He nodded and followed Inqingxi into the cabin. The cabin was shabby. There was only a bed, a bathroom, a chair, and a cushion. Shabby as it was clean. Lu Li took a look and said with satisfaction, "Thank you, young Lady Yin. You go ahead. I will continue to take control of the wicked bead." Lu Li took out the wicked bead in front of Inqingxi without hesitation. The latter turned around and said with a smile, "Emperor Hung was talented and looked down upon the others. He rose quickly after he went to the divinity. He has high standards. Young Master Lu, it is not easy for you to pass his test and get this relic." Luli noticed that there was not a trace of envy or jealousy on Qingxi's face. Instead, she was happy for him. Luli was even more curious about Qingxi. Which warrior would not be tempted by a relic? Unless Qingxi had a relic herself. Last time in the purgatory of primordial chaos, Qingxi was hunted down and almost lost her life. She could not have a relic. The only explanation was that Qingxi really saw Lu Li as a friend more than a family member. Lu Li felt warm inside. He said with a smile, "I did have some luck. I learned a profound meaning in the forbidden ground of Elder God. That profound meaning can control Featherwind. By controlling the Featherwind, I entered an underground hall and obtained this bead by chance." Featherwind? Qingxi was surprised. She had been to the forbidden ground of Elder God and knew how powerful the Featherwind was. She gave a thumbs up and said, "This is not luck anymore. Being able to control the Featherwind has already passed one of Emperor Hang's tests. You're the only one who can obtain this pearl. No one else can." Luli had thought about this. He smiled gently, looked in Qingxi's eyes, and said, "Young Lady Yin, is there a chance to cure your eyes? If you need any spirit materials, I'll help you find them later." "Yes." Qingxi thought for a while and said, "Great ancestor said that as long as we can find a kind of spirit herb, it can be cured. That spirit herb is called Mongol's tongue orchid, but I don't think this kind of spirit herb can be found in any big world." "Oh, right." At this point, Qingxi used psychic power to check Lu Li's bone marrow and said, "The poison in your body is not cured yet. I've already figured out the antidote recipe. I'll help you refine an antidote later." "No need." Lu Li shook his head. "Lung Wuxin did it. She is in the wicked bead right now, making the antidote for me." "That's good." Qingxi nodded and said, "Young Master Lu, take a rest and cultivate. I will cultivate in the room next door. If you need anything, just tell the maid outside to call me." "Okay." Lu Li watched as Qingxi left. He sat in a room for a while and then took out the wicked bead to work on it. He sat with his legs crossed to cultivate. Soon, he noticed a problem. The Xian Qi in heaven and earth in the Zen Valley was not weaker than in the wicked bead. There must be a formation of Xian energy gathering here. Lu Li understood why the crippled Zen master was so horrifying. The crippled Zen master must be proficient in all kinds of formations. Half of the first layer of the seal had been dissolved. At Lu Li's current speed, he could finish in half a year at most. "I'd better go back to the wicked bead." Lu Li dashed into the small hall in the wicked bead. He could dissolve the seal in the wicked bead as well as outside. He would feel safer in the wicked bead. He told Lung Wuxin to continue making the antidote while the others cultivated. He sat with his legs crossed to cultivate. Qingxi did not go back to her cabin. Instead, she went to the crippled Zen master's cabin and walked to the huge parasol tree in the backyard. The crippled Zen master was playing chess by himself. His eyelids were closed. The pot of tea next to him had gone cold. His hand was floating in the air like a statue. Qingxi walked over and heated up a pot of tea for him. Then, she squatted down next to him. The crippled Zen master's eyelids twitched as he asked, "Girl, do you like this young man?" Qingxi blushed. She shook her head and said, "I only see him as a friend. He once saved my life." "Well," the crippled Zen master threw Qingxi a look and said coldly, "You'd better not fall in love with him. Otherwise, you will bring harm to this young man." "Bring harm to Lu Li?" Qingxi was surprised. "Why do you say that?" The crippled Zen master said nothing. After the time for half an incense stick to burn, he sighed and said, "I didn't want to tell you some things, but I will tell you part of it now." Qingxi was moved. She held her breath. The crippled Zen master said after a pause, "Girl, I lied to you when I told you that he was an orphan." "What?" Qingxi was shocked and confused. She looked at the crippled Zen master and asked, "Forefather, why did you lie to me?" "So, I have parents and relatives?" "Yes." The crippled Zen master nodded and sighed. "But I cannot tell you about my family now. I have my reasons for lying to you. When you reach the semi-god realm, I will tell you many things." Qingxi lowered her head in disappointment. Since the crippled Zen master had said that he would tell her later, she could not get any more information from him now. The crippled Zen master put on a solemn expression and said, "Your family is powerful and your background is extraordinary. So, you cannot fall in love with the average people. For example, if you fall in love with that young man, I will kill him without any hesitation. Nobody can stop me." What? Inqingxi looked up at once. She could tell from the crippled Zen master's words that he was trying to convey some killing intent. The fact that she was being so nice to Lu Li had made the crippled Zen master want to kill her. If she really fell in love with Lu Li would die for sure. Powerful family? Extraordinary background? Inqingxi was confused. There were only a handful of major families in the 4 universes and 5 minor universes. What kind of family could be worthy of the word powerful mentioned by the crippled Zen master? None. The crippled Zen master was the most powerful warrior in the Central Imperial Universe. Theoretically speaking, he should be one of the most powerful warriors in the 4 universes. Even the most powerful family in the Divine Imperial Universe should not be powerful to the crippled Zen master. Besides, there was no family with the surname In in the 4 universes. Can it be? Chapter 765. As far as Inqingxi could remember, the crippled Zen master had always been mysterious. Based on what she learned from the outside, she had always had doubts about the identity of the crippled Zen master. 3,000 years ago, the crippled Zen master came out of nowhere. She had never heard of him before. As soon as he showed up at the Zen mountain, he was already a powerful warrior of the semi-god realm. He defeated a group of powerful warriors all by himself and became the most powerful warrior at the Zen mountain. In the decades that followed, he became enemies with the Feng dynasty and the Qi dynasty. The 2 dynasties sent out Earth immortal realm warriors and semi-god realm warriors. In the end, the warriors of the 2 dynasties never came back out after they went to the Zen mountain. In other words, when the crippled Zen master showed up at the Zen mountain, he was already the most powerful warrior of the Central Imperial Universe. Why was there no information about such a powerful warrior? Powerful warriors had to cultivate step by step. They had to be supported by a large amount of mystical materials. It was impossible to achieve success overnight. However, nobody knew where the crippled Zen master came from. Lung family, Feng family, and Qi family sent many people to investigate, but found nothing about him. Based on what Inqingxi had seen and heard over the past decade, she had long suspected that the crippled Zen master was not from the 4 major universes or 5 minor universes. He might be from another universe, or the divinity. 3,000 years ago, the crippled Zen master was on the verge of death. It was unusual that he showed no signs of dying after 3,000 years. Besides, the crippled Zen master never left the Zen mountain and the mystical materials she needed. Where did he get those mystical materials? Inqingxi had many questions in her mind, but the crippled Zen master did not say anything. After a while, she couldn't help but ask, "Forefather, can you tell me anything?" "No." The crippled Zen master closed his eyes. He didn't answer Inqingxi's question. He only said coldly, "All you need to know is that you cannot fall in love with any man, or else I will kill them all. Do you understand?" Inqingxi saw the crippled Zen master closed his eyes and went back to meditating with the chess piece in his hand. She knew she couldn't get anything out of him. She sighed, turned around, and left. She didn't fall in love with Lu Li. She only saw him as a friend, the only one she acknowledged. There was a strange ripple in the girl's heart, but she was frightened by the crippled Zen master's ruthless words. Inqingxi had no other choice but to cut it off. She went back to her cabin to cultivate. The Zen Sky Valley was quiet, but it was bustling outside. More than 20 semi-god realm warriors kept bombarding the white fog. It was impossible to hide such a big event. Soon, the news reached the ears of Feng family and Qi family progenitors. The 2 families were scared out of their wits when they heard that there were more than 20 semi-god realm warriors from the mage imperial universe. Even Jun Hongye and Li family patriarch didn't want to go after them. That being said, they felt lucky to know that semi-god realm warriors of the mage imperial universe were blasting at the Zen mountain. If the crippled Zen master were to take action, at least half of the semi-god realm warriors of the mage imperial universe would perish. Feng family and Qi family progenitors had a discussion and decided to leave the Zen mountain alone. They would let the semi-god realm warriors of the mage imperial universe fight against the crippled Zen master, and they would reap the benefits. Jun Hongye and Li family patriarch had run away. The two of them had already snuck into the mountains. Although many scouts had entered the mountains to search, and they were still rushing over, they had completely lost track of the two of them. Qi family and Feng family progenitor warriors were troubled. They had lost the wicked bead, and two of Jun Hongye's warriors had escaped. Now, all the lunatics of the mage imperial universe were here. It seemed that they had suffered a great loss. The two families and the other major families of the central imperial universe hated Luli to the core. They wished they could eat Luli alive and hack him into pieces. Because of Luli, the Lung family was wiped out. The entire central imperial universe was turned upside down. Many families of the 4 major universes and 5 minor ones were involved. Regardless of the outcome, Luli would leave his mark in the history books of all the universes. Warriors of the mage imperial universe didn't mind the Feng family and the Qi family. As long as the two families didn't come, the mage imperial universe wouldn't care. Their target was the wicked bead. Naturally, they wouldn't be silly enough to start a war with the families of the central imperial universe. The semi-god realm warrior that went to the Neverland universe had sent back good news. He had invited the Infinity, who was proficient in inhibition formations. He would arrive in half a month at most. By then, they could find a way to crack the formation. During the half a month, they never stopped attacking the ancient divine formation. After all, any formation required energy to sustain. The more energy they consumed, the easier it would be for the Infinity to crack the formation. Half a month later, an old hunchback arrived at the Zen mountain. The Infinity was here. He circled the Zen mountain range dozens of times and even went deep into the fog. After 2 days of searching, he finally arrived before Wu Guangda and the others. He said, "The formation is very complicated and mysterious. I don't have the confidence to break it." Not confident? Wu Guangda and Chun Tianxian's eyes glowed. Not confident meant that there was hope. Wu Guangda said at once, "Infinity, tell me if you need anything. If you can crack the formation, we of the Mage Imperial Universe will guarantee your family 1,000,000 years of prosperity." The Infinity thought about it. After the time for half an incense stick to burn, he said, "I will try my best. Do not blame me if I cannot crack it." The Infinity busied himself. He began to build the formation. His way of cracking the formation was strange. He would build another formation outside the mountain and then use the conflict between the two formations to destabilize the space nearby. In this way, the ancient divine formation would collapse directly. Under the instruction of the Infinity, the semi-god realm warriors began to build the formation near the Zen mountain. The Zen mountain was a vast place. To cover the entire mountain with a formation was a huge project that required the cooperation of many people. The Infinity took out many formation stones from his interspatial ring. The warriors worked according to his instructions. After 10 days and 10 nights, the formation was finally built. "Okay, gather up in the sky." The Infinity confirmed several times. Then he flew up and shouted, "When the formation is activated, the space down there will be twisted. If you stay down there, you will be strangled to death by the twisted space." The semi-god realm warriors flew up with the Infinity. Their eyes glowed. They took out their weapons and armors. They were ready to go into the Zen mountain and kill the crippled Zen master at any time. "Okay, get ready." The limitless old ancestor glanced around, then made hand seals and shot out beams of light, activating the formation. As he poured out the Xian energy, the Zen mountain lit up. It was as if snakes of fire were slithering around the edge of the mountain. A suffocating atmosphere came from down there. Whoosh! Right at this moment, a beam of light suddenly lit up in the white fog below. A beam of light shot over at a frighteningly fast speed. Even a group of semi-god realm cultivators could not see it clearly. A chess piece. Wu Guangda's psychic power locked onto the ray of light. He knew it was a chess piece. The chess piece was shot out from the white fog. Needless to say, it was the crippled Zen master. Wu Guangda and the others snorted. The three of them took out their weapons and attacked the chess piece at the same time. However, when they attacked, they realized that they did not hit the chess piece. Instead, they hit the shadow. Bang! The streak of light continued to fly forward, striking old ancestor Limitless before he could even react. The Infinity's quasi-relic armor glowed, but the chess piece went into his head in a flash. Under the astonished looks of the more than 20 semi-god realm warriors, the Infinity's head exploded. The quasi-relic armor on his body fell off automatically. A headless body fell to the ground. Time and space profound meaning. Wu Guangda and Chun Tianxian looked at each other. That chess piece must have contained the time and space profound meaning. Otherwise, they would not have missed their target. The crippled Zen master did not show himself. He only threw a chess piece and killed the Infinity Ancestral Master in front of everyone. The Infinity Ancestral Master was so powerful that even the semi-god realm warriors were shocked. P.S. I have written 5 chapters and deleted 2 since this morning. I am not in a good state. I will write 1 more chapter tonight. I will pay the debt next week. Chapter 766. Profound meanings were divided into 9 grades, with the first being the lowest and the 9th being the highest. However, 9th grade profound meanings did not mean that all of them had the same power. Some 9th grade profound meanings were speed types, some were defense types, some were support types, and some were attack types. 9th grade profound meanings were divided into strong and weak ones. Under normal circumstances, a 9th grade profound meaning created from the fusion of the 5 elements profound meanings wouldn't be too strong. A 9th grade profound meaning created from the fusion of the space, time, destruction, light, and darkness profound meanings would be much stronger. Space and time, these 2 profound meanings were recognized as the most powerful profound meanings. If he could comprehend the powerful profundities of these 2 profundities and fuse them together, the power would be terrifying. Just now, everyone had clearly locked onto that chess piece, but when the 3 soul formation cultivators attacked, they only hit a shadow. One could only imagine how terrifying this profound meaning was. It could even confuse a group of soul formation cultivators. Furthermore, the attack power of this quintessence could even kill a soul formation realm martial artist wearing a demigod artifact battle armor. In that case, the crippled Zen master could kill anyone in a second. Of course, everyone knew that the Wuji ancestral patriarch was not very powerful. However, the semi-god realm warrior was a semi-god realm warrior after all. Normal semi-god realm warriors would not be able to kill another semi-god realm warrior instantly. Judging from this, the crippled Zen master was worthy of his title as the leader of the Central Imperial Universe. What to do? The lunatics of the Mage Imperial Universe were confused. Should they continue or retreat? If they were to attack, how were they going to break through the ancient divine formation? If they were to retreat, none of them were willing to do so. Everyone looked at each other. Finally, their gazes landed on the 4 patriarchs. The 4 patriarchs also began to discuss via voice transmission. After the time it took for an incense stick to burn, the 4 patriarchs made up their minds and continued their bombardment. The relic must belong to the Mage Imperial Universe and not to the crippled Zen Master. Otherwise, the crippled Zen Master might unify the 9 universes. Why didn't the crippled Zen Master do anything before? Why did he suddenly kill the limitless ancestor? That was because he was afraid that limitless old man would break his formation. In other words, this formation was not indestructible. If they continued to attack, there was a high chance that this formation would be broken. As long as there was hope, they would not give up. However, to prevent a sneak attack from the crippled Zen master, they decided to make some preparations. This group of people divided into 4 teams, each with a strong defensive power Upanishad. As long as the crippled Zen master launched a sneak attack, someone with strong defense would be able to block it. They didn't believe that the crippled Zen master could kill them with one strike. If the crippled Zen master was that powerful, he would have conquered all the worlds a long time ago. He wouldn't have needed to fight for the relic. No one dared to hover high in the sky. They went underground around a mountain range and bombarded the mountain range from afar. The 4 family patriarchs had come to a decision. They would stay here for 3 years. If they could not break the seal in 3 years, they would return to the mage imperial universe. In the Zen Valley, after the warriors of the mage imperial universe split up, the crippled Zen master sneered. 3 years? If you can break this formation in 300 years, I'll consider you powerful. After saying that, the crippled Zen master closed his eyes and cultivated. He became a stone statue again. Inside the wicked bead, Luli cultivated Xian energy, studied profound meanings, and tried to break the seal. However, he controlled the speed of breaking the seal and diverted a portion of his Xian energy into his natal jewel. It was safe here. Inxingxi's calmness reassured Luli. Inxingxi wouldn't be so calm if she didn't have absolute confidence in the misty formation outside. There was still some time before the 4 families of the Heaven Reverse Universe would invade the northern desert. Luli was not in a hurry, so he focused on improving his realm. His realm was still too low. Back when he was at the northern desert of the Heaven Reverse Universe, he might have thought the Noble Lord realm was not bad. After experiencing so many things, especially when he was hunted down by a group of semi-god realm warriors, Luli's vision had grown. For him, the human sovereign realm was nothing. He had to reach the earth immortal realm to be considered a powerful warrior. To break through to the Noble Lord realm, first of all, he needed to learn profound meanings, accumulate Xian energy, strengthen his soul pond, and a large amount of mystical materials. Luli had no lack of mystical materials. His soul pond had been growing, and his profound meanings had surpassed the standard of the peak of the Noble Lord realm. The only thing he lacked was Xian energy. He must pour a large amount of Xian energy into his bead of life to condense it so that he could use mystical materials to transform it. Inxingxi had been cultivating, so she didn't come to disturb Luli. The Zen Valley was quiet. Nobody disturbed Luli's cultivation. Naturally, Luli was in no mood to wander around. Time flew by. Soon, half a year had passed. If Luli had tried his best to dissolve the seal, the first layer of the seal would have been broken. However, he had poured some Xian energy into his bead of life. Therefore, it would take him another 2 months to dissolve the seal. The seal never glowed, which meant that the speed of the wicked bead was not increasing. He wondered if the speed of the wicked bead could reach the semi-god realm after the first layer of the seal was broken. Outside the mountain, the situation was the same as it was half a year ago. A group of semi-god realm warriors bombarded the Zen mountain without any rest. Feng family and Qi family didn't dare to come. Therefore, nothing special happened. The Feng dynasty and the Qi dynasty were in trouble. Jun Hongye and Li family patriarch had begun their revenge. They knew that all the powerful warriors of the mage imperial universe had come out, and the crippled Zen master was involved. Therefore, they had given up the fight for the wicked bead and vented their anger on the major families of the central imperial universe. In a half a year, the 2 of them had taken action 15 times. They worked together. During the 15 times, they had killed more than 1,000 human sovereign realm warriors, dozens of earth immortal realm warriors, 2 semi-god realm warriors, and many noble lord realm warriors. Every time, they would run away after each strike and sneak into the wild. Families of the Central Imperial Universe sent out millions of scouts to search everywhere. Yet they could not find the 2. The psychic power of a semi-god realm warrior was too strong. How could a group of noble Lord Realm warriors and human sovereign realm warriors find them? The Earth immortal realm warriors of the major families were afraid to go out. They would only be killed. There were only so many semi-god realm warriors in total. What was more, none of them dared to act alone. It was impossible to find all of them. Feng family, Qi family, and other major families of the Central Imperial Universe were panicking. At this rate, their powerful warriors would be killed one by one. By then, only a bunch of old warriors would be left. In the end, Feng family and Qi family had no other choice. They put up notices everywhere, asking the two to negotiate a truce. They would rather pay the price to send the two killers away. Notices were put up in every city. Naturally, Jun Hongye and Li family could find out easily. The two had vented their anger. They didn't want to go on killing endlessly. If they could gain some benefits, they would not be so humiliated when they returned to their families. The two demanded an exorbitant price. They sent a letter to the Feng family and Qi family patriarch, asking for mystical materials and treasures at an exorbitant price. The two family patriarchs trembled in anger. They had to put up notices and bargain with the two. Finally, 10 days later, the two sides reached an agreement. The Central Imperial Universe paid a heavy price for Jun Hongye and Li family patriarch to agree to a truce. The City of Chaos was still under the control of the Mage Imperial Universe, but there were no semi-god realm warriors there. When Jun Hongye and Li family patriarch showed up, the Earth immortal realm warriors didn't dare to stop them. They teleported them to the purgatory of primordial chaos. When the scouts sent back the news that the two had left, the powerful warriors of the Feng family and Qi family felt like weeping. They hated Lu Li even more. It was all because of Lu Li, the plague, that the Central Imperial Universe was in such a miserable state. Lu Li almost caused the Central Imperial Universe to go through a catastrophe. The warriors of the Mage Imperial Universe hadn't left yet. Who could tell what would happen next? P.S. Including today's chapter, there were 3 chapters to go. Chapter 767. Jun Hongye and the Li family patriarch were gone. Powerful warriors of the Central Imperial Universe turned their attention to the Zen Mountain. Of course, they didn't dare to get too close. They just kept an eye on the situation there. Even the scouts didn't dare to get too close. The Central Imperial Universe didn't have the courage to take the City of Chaos back. Once the powerful warriors of the Mage Imperial Universe thought that the Central Imperial Universe was going to launch a counterattack, things would get out of hand. Given the number of powerful warriors of the Central Imperial Universe, they could not defeat the Mage Imperial Universe. The lunatics of the Mage Imperial Universe had made up their minds to bombard for 3 years, regardless of the outcome. Once they had made up their minds, they would do it. They were not called lunatics for no reason. The Central Imperial Universe watched from the sidelines. What disappointed them was that the crippled Zen Master didn't take any action this time. He allowed the Mage Imperial Universe to strike. Otherwise, the Central Imperial Universe would be able to reap the benefits. Some thought that the crippled Zen Master was not confident enough to fight against more than 20 semi-god realm warriors. Some thought that the crippled Zen Master was really going to die this time. The crippled Zen Master remained like a statue in the Zen Valley. No one knew if he was playing chess or cultivating. Yin Qingxi came out from cultivation several times. Seeing that Lu Li had been in closed-door cultivation, she went back to cultivation after a day or two. 2 months passed in peace. Finally, Lu Li came out from cultivation. The first seal of the wicked bead was broken. Just now, the first layer of the seal kept glowing. Then the seal slowly melted away. Lu Li could feel that a new layer of seal had appeared inside the bead. Excited, he hurriedly sensed the changes in the bead to see if it had any new functions. To his disappointment, there was no message from a bead. He explored it carefully and found that the bead only increased its speed a little, but had no other functions. Since they were in the Zen Valley, Lu Li dared not to show off. Therefore, he did not know how fast the wicked bead could go. According to the previous pattern, The speed of the bead should be at least comparable to the early stage of the divine transformation realm. Luli did not believe it. He searched the wicked bead carefully, hoping to find more abilities. After fumbling around for a long time, he finally obtained a new ability, a kind of useless divine ability. The bead could grow bigger. The pearl could become the size of a small mountain, and the largest it could become was 1,000 feet in radius, like a meteorite. The exterior had grown larger, but the small hall inside was still the same size. Many holy-grade weapons and quasi-relics could be enlarged. It was pointless for the wicked bead to do so. Luli had hoped that the wicked bead would come up with some new and powerful abilities to assist him in improving his abilities. However, he was disappointed. However, on second thought, the wicked bead's horrifying defense and the speed of a semi-god realm warrior were impressive enough. This was only the first layer of the seal. If he could refine a few more layers of the seal, new powerful abilities would definitely appear. Luli went back to his room and began to dissolve the second layer of the seal. Soon, he noticed a problem. It seemed that he could not dissolve the second layer of the seal at his current realm. He could sense the second layer of the seal, but when he injected his dark force into it, there was no fluctuation in the seal. After trying a few times, he was shocked. Not even warriors of the Noble Lord realm could dissolve the second seal. Could it be that only warriors of the human sovereign realm could? Doesn't the third seal require an earth immortal? The fourth most important thing, the soul formation stage? What about the fifth seal? Could it be that only true gods could refine it? What about the sixth level? Luli felt troubled. After a day's effort, he was sure that he could not dissolve the seal. He had to give up. He sensed that Lung Wuxin had stopped making pellets in the wicked bead. He dashed into the small hall. Lung Wuxin handed over a brown pellet and said, "The antidote is ready. Take it and the walking dead poison will be cured immediately." Lung Wuxin was Lu Li's sole slave, and she would not harm him. Luli took over the antidote and swallowed it. After a while, he felt a reaction in his body. He felt a stomachache. He teleported to the toilet at once and relieved himself to his heart's content. He checked his bone marrow and found that the toxins were gone. The walking dead poison had been cured. Squeak, squeak, Yin Xingxi's door was opened. She walked out with a smile and said, "Luli, it has been over half a year. This is the first time you have come out from cultivation. How is it? Did you learn anything?" "What?" Luli took a look at Yin Xingxi and noticed that her qi and energy were stronger. He checked carefully and cupped his fists. "Congratulations, young Lady Yin. You have reached the middle stage of the human sovereign realm." Yin Xingxi smiled sweetly and nodded. "I just made it not long ago. Luli, from now on, you can call me Xingxi. Calling me Miss Yin is too formal. You haven't answered my question yet." "Oh, I see." Luli forced a smile and said, "Not much progress. I have wasted half a year. How is it going out there?" Yin Xingxi looked up at the haze in the sky and said, "The lunatics of the mage imperial universe have not given up yet. They're still trying their best to break down the formations." Luli frowned. He looked into the sky and felt a headache coming on. If they were to stay outside and not go back to the mage imperial universe, would he be stuck here for the rest of his life? What about the heaven reverse universe? Also, even if the mage imperial universe retreated, the city of chaos will be taken over by the Feng family and the Qi family. By then, he would not be able to teleport back to the purgatory of primordial chaos from the city of chaos. Yin Xingxi noticed Lu Li's gloomy mood. She asked, "Luli, isn't it good to stay here?" Luli forced a smile and said, "It's not bad. I have to go to the purgatory of primordial chaos for urgent matters. I cannot go to the purgatory of primordial chaos until they leave. Alas, even if they do, the Feng family and the Qi family will not let me go to the purgatory of primordial chaos easily." Yin Xingxi thought about it and said, "Forefather will not leave the Zen Valley. So you have to wait until the mage imperial universe leaves. Then I'll try to communicate with the Feng family and the Qi family and see if we can let you go to the purgatory of primordial chaos." "Okay." Luli was already grateful that the crippled Zen master was willing to let him stay in the Zen Valley and didn't take away his wicked bead. How could he expect more from the crippled Zen master? Wait until the mage Imperial Universe leaves. Who could tell when they would leave? What if they did not leave after 10 years? Luli was troubled. He thought about it and decided that the only way was to reach the human sovereign realm as soon as possible and dissolve the second layer of the seal. It was rare for Lu Li to come out from cultivation. In Qingxi asked someone to prepare some food and drink with Lu Li in the pavilion. Lu Li's mind was preoccupied. He was tipsy. He staggered back to his room and slept. When he woke up, he went into the wicked bead and began to cultivate. Now that he didn't have to consume the wicked bead, it would be faster. He planned to reach the later stage of the Noble Lord realm in 3 months. After some time, he could reach the human sovereign realm. It had been more than 2 years since Lu Li left the Heaven Reverse universe. It would be less than 6 years before the 4 families attacked the northern desert. If Lu Li couldn't figure out a way to enter the purgatory of primordial chaos in 6 years, then Lu Ling and the others would be doomed. Lu Ling was good at scheming. The problem was, the 4 families did have talents in this field. Lu Xuan, for example, was a master of schemes, not to mention the others. It had been a long time, and the 4 families knew about the deserted world. How could they not make plans and plot? The 4 families had too many people with special abilities. Once the 4 families secretly sent someone to the deserted world, when the 4 families invaded and the entrance to the deserted world was taken, Lu Ling and the others would be doomed eternally. Cultivate. Chapter 768. The cultivation of the Noble Lord realm was going well. Lu Li was not in need of mystical materials, and they were all high-level ones. His soul pond had been growing, and his understanding of profound meanings had reached the standard. The only thing he lacked was Xian energy. Cultivating Xian energy in the wicked bead was fast. Lu Li didn't need to consume the wicked bead anymore. He poured all his Xian energy into the bead of life. In just 3 months, Lu Li had reached the later stage of the Noble Lord realm. Warriors at the later stage of the Noble Lord realm had to reach the peak of the Noble Lord realm before they could reach the human sovereign realm. This would require a period of accumulation. It was not easy to reach the human sovereign realm. Lulu gave Zi Huanxiao and Yu Huashan many mystical materials, but none of them reached the human sovereign realm. After asking God of Meng and Hu Lang, Lu Li understood one thing. To reach the human sovereign realm, one must learn a profound meaning above the 5th or 6th rank. The higher the level of the profound meaning, the easier it would be to reach the human sovereign realm. Lu Li had learned several profound meanings. The first was the mirror image profound meaning, the second was the speed profound meaning, and the third was the space vibration profound meaning. In the forbidden ground of Elder God, Lu Li learned a wind-related profound meaning that could control feather wind. Of the 4 profound meanings, Lu Li didn't think any of them were advanced ones. The last one, the wind-related profound meaning, was special. It could control feather wind, but Lu Li didn't think it was a profound meaning above the 5th rank. The feather wind could not be found in the outside world, only in the forbidden ground of Elder God. Outside, Lu Li tried to use wind-related profound meaning. All he could do was to form some wind dragons, which were not very powerful. Therefore, from now on, Lu Li changed his cultivation direction. Learning powerful, profound meanings was his top priority. If he could not comprehend the profound meaning above the 5th or 6th grade, even if he had the best spiritual materials, he would not be able to break through to the Renhuang plane. Advanced profound. Advanced profoundness could be fused with several profoundness or directly comprehended. Usually, the more advanced the profound meaning was, the harder it was to learn it directly, unless one had heaven-defying luck and talent. Fusion. Fusing Upanishads was a very difficult matter because no one knew what kind of Upanishads could be fused. How should I fuse them? Where should I cut in? Mirror image profound, speed profound, space vibration, power of wind. How could he fuse these 4 profundities? Which 2 could fuse? For a moment,
Luli was confused. These profound meanings didn't seem to be related at all. How could they be fused together? Learn the power Upanishad again. The problem was that profoundness was not something that could be easily comprehended. It would be great if he was in the forbidden ground of Elder God. There were heavenly rhythms and Tao marks there, which would greatly increase his chances of comprehending ultimacy. Oh, right. On this thought, Luli was intrigued. The crippled Zen master had lived in the Zen valley for 3,000 years. Was it because there was a natural charm in the valley? Did he stay here to learn a powerful Upanishad? Inxingxi had told him that he could walk around the rest of the Zen valley except for a few wooden houses. Luli was bored after cultivating for a while. He decided to teleport out. He didn't disturb Inxingxi. After informing the maidservant outside the door, he strolled around in the valley. The valley was very big. There were ponds, small rivers, bamboo forests, and a sea of flowers. There were also small forests in the corners with some small animals. The scenery was extremely beautiful. It was like a paradise. Luli walked slowly. He didn't use psychic power. He just walked around casually, immersing himself in the beautiful scenery. He walked into the sea of flowers, smelling the fragrance of the flowers. He walked to the side of the pool and sat on a rock, staring at the pool in a daze. He walked into the bamboo forest, watching the bamboo leaves swaying in the wind, making rustling sounds. He walked to the riverside, listening to the sound of the flowing water, and walked on the winding path. This time, he walked for a whole half a month. He didn't ask the maidservant to disturb Inxingxi, and the servants and maids didn't dare to disturb him. Therefore, Luli walked around in the valley alone, like a fool. Eventually, he stopped in a bamboo forest and sat down with his legs crossed. The bamboo forest was spacious. He chose a bamboo forest by the river. When Luli sat on a flagstone by the river and began to meditate, the crippled Zen master suddenly opened his eyes in the parasol tree in the backyard of the wooden house. He looked to where Luli was and murmured in a cold voice, "This punk is very perceptive. There are 10 places in the valley that have natural rhythms, and he has found the best one right away. But it is not easy to learn the natural charm here. His realm is so low. How can he achieve instant success? He is in too much of a hurry." Half a month later, Inxingxi came out from cultivation again. She was surprised to see Luli sitting by the bamboo forest by the river. She knew the natural charm was there. That being said, she had been sitting there since she was a kid, and she never learned any profound meaning from it. Therefore, Inxingxi wanted to remind Luli not to waste his time. The profound meaning contained in the natural charm was complicated. It must be a profound meaning of a high level. To learn it directly without reaching the realm would be as difficult as ascending to heaven. Inxingxi walked to a place not far away from Luli. She used psychic power to check his chiseled face, but didn't wake him up. What if Luli could learn a powerful, profound meaning from the natural charm? It was not that Luli's senses were sharp, that he could find the most powerful natural charm in the valley at once. It was just that he was lucky. He happened to be near a bend in the river. The water was flowing from the distance, and a gentle breeze blew over. There was a bamboo forest at the bend, and there were a few bamboos that grew in strange places. When the wind blew, these bamboos would sway, and the bamboo leaves on them would cause the nearby bamboos to sway as well, forming a strange rhythm. This rhythm was similar to the one Luli sensed in the forbidden ground of Elder God when he was learning the wind profound meaning. Therefore, when Luli came here, he was intrigued. He stopped to meditate. There was no sign of human activity, which meant that the natural charm was formed naturally, not man-made marks of profound meaning. Natural charm was harder to learn than marks of profound meaning because there were no traces to be found. However, the truth contained in natural charm was the embodiment of laws. Once learned, it was easy to follow the clues and master a profound meaning. As a matter of fact, Luli didn't try to learn the natural charm here. He sat here with his legs crossed so that he could better recall the natural charm he felt in the forbidden ground of Elder God. He wanted to take this chance to further study the profound meaning of wind so that it could evolve.
Ming Yu's force had evolved into a seventh-rank profound meaning, space ceiling, in the inferno. Low-level profound meanings could be evolved, which was the path Luli wanted to take. Cultivating in the Zen Valley was about the same as cultivating in the Wicked Bead. He had lived in the Zen Valley for a long time without encountering any danger. Luli could cultivate here with peace of mind. Swish, swish, swish. On the 67th day of Lu Li's cultivation, the wind suddenly began to swirl around him. Then, the bamboo forest began to shake violently. Countless bamboo leaves rustled down, and the water of the small river at the side was actually affected by the wind and began to flow upstream. The leaves that filled the sky swirled up, forming a strange tornado nearby. What? Chapter 769. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Wind was blowing toward Lu Li from all sides. More and more tornadoes came into being. Leaves from the bamboo woods were flying toward him. Dust was stirred up, and the water in the river was dragged up, forming many tornadoes. The tornadoes grew larger and larger. They seemed to be going out of control. Xianxi in heaven and earth from all sides were attracted. The servants in the valley were alarmed. Even Yin Qingxi, who was in closed-door cultivation, was alarmed. She pushed open the door and walked out. Whoosh! From the cabin the crippled Zen master was in came out a ray of light. A chess piece flew out and dashed into the 7 or 8 tornadoes around Lu Li. The chess piece circled around several tornadoes. All the tornadoes collapsed. Everything was quiet again. What? Yin Qingxi was surprised. Did the progenitor take action in person? Was he afraid that Lu Li would lose control and destroy the scenery in the valley? What profound meaning did Lu Li learn? How could it be so horrifying? Did the crippled Zen master have to take action in person? Yin Qingxi thought about it and walked into the crippled Zen master's cabin. She walked to the parasol tree and asked, "Progenitor, what is going on with Lu Li?" The crippled Zen master answered indifferently, "Nothing. That punk is talented. He has learned the original form of a fundamental principle. But he can learn the fundamental principle because of Emperor Heng's guidance. This kid's luck is pretty good. If he can continue to comprehend this true meaning, his battle strength will be heaven-defying in the future." Fundamental principle? It was the first time Yin Qingxi had heard of this. She asked with curiosity, "Progenitor, what is fundamental principle?" "You will know in the future." The crippled Zen master didn't explain. He only shook his head and said, "This punk is talented. If you can recruit him, take him as your family warrior. He has opened the path to the heavens. Of course, whether he can succeed or not depends on his luck." Family warrior? Yin Qingxi shook her head. Someone like Lu Li would not be willing to be a subordinate. Besides, she and Lu Li were friends. How could she ruin their friendship? The path to the heavens. Yin Qingxi's expression changed slightly when she heard those words. The meaning of those words coming from the mouth of the crippled Zen master was extraordinary. However, before Yin Qingxi could ask further, the crippled Zen master had already closed his eyes and started to meditate. Yin Qingxi walked out and stood behind Lu Li for a moment. Seeing that there was no sign of him coming out from cultivation, Yin Qingxi went back to cultivate. Lu Li had no idea what was going on outside. He was immersed in his own world. Just now, he had made a breakthrough in his profound meaning. It wasn't that he had comprehended a new power Upanishad, but his wind power Upanishad had a breakthrough. From the rhythm of the swaying leaves on the island in the forbidden land of ancient God, he felt a strange pattern. There was something mysterious in this rhythm. Lu Li was able to control the feather wind because of this rhythm. He also made a big discovery. The feather wind was not natural but acquired. It was very likely that the strange rhythm had led to the appearance of the feather wind. In other words, Emperor Heng had used the rhythm to change the regular wind into feather wind. The profound meaning of wind that he had learned was indeed nothing special. The reason why he could control the feather wind was that he had only scratched the surface of the rhythm. Lu Li's progress in the profound meaning of profound meaning was because he had turned the rhythm into a diagram in his mind. In his mind, there were many beams of light moving around according to a special pattern. They intersected with each other, strengthened each other, and yet did not interfere with each other. Luli felt the diagram was abstruse and abstruse. If he could completely grasp the principle here, his abilities would be greatly enhanced. At the very least, he could generate feather wind. Imagine it. If he could generate feather wind all over the sky, cover an area with a radius of 3,000 miles, and attack from all sides, no matter how many Earth Immortal Realm warriors there were, they would die. Even semi-god realm warriors would not be able to defend themselves if there were enough feather wind, and the feather wind was strong enough. How horrifying would the attack be? Unimaginable. Luli felt he had opened up a path to heaven. The abstruse diagram in his mind was a miraculous treasure. If he could dig out all the treasures, he would have a meteoric rise. At least in the Heaven Reverse universe, he would be invincible. Of course, before Luli began to study, he had already sensed the complexity of the diagram. He had just forcibly turned the rhythm into the diagram. Before he began, he already felt the diagram was vast. There were at least tens of thousands of lines intersecting with each other without interfering with each other. If he wanted to comprehend the principles within, who knew how long it would take? The diagram was like a huge treasure map. There were tens of thousands of entrances and exits and millions of forks. Luli had to go through the diagram bit by bit to figure out which was the way out and which was the dead end. Where was the treasure and where was the trap? The amount of work required would be enormous. It would take more than a few years to study. What was certain was that this route map was definitely a heaven-defying treasure. This must have been left behind by Emperor Hung. At that moment, Luli suddenly understood something. The rhythm he learned at the island in the center of the river in the forbidden ground of Elder God was not the rhythm of nature, but the mark of Tao. Emperor Hung left it on purpose for the Destined One. By chance, Luli learned the mark of Tao and opened the treasury left by Emperor Hung. The treasury was hidden in the mark of Tao and in the feather wind. Luli had to dig it out bit by bit so that he could learn the skill left behind by Emperor Hung. The wind, profound meaning, was a key, while the feather wind was a gate. Only when the key and the gate were gathered could the treasury, where the diagram was hidden, be opened. Luli had another idea. He had obtained the wicked bead because he had opened the treasury. The wicked bead was given to him by Emperor Hung for protection. The real treasure is not the wicked bead, but the diagram. Luli exclaimed to himself that Emperor Hung had gone through a lot of trouble. That being said, Emperor Hung had opened the treasury for him. Whether or not Luli could get the real treasure would depend on his luck and talent. Keep going. Luli was cheered up. His abilities had not improved by much, but given enough time, he could make himself stronger. But as long as he was given time, he could infinitely improve his strength. If he continued to comprehend, it would be very easy for him to break through to the Renwang level. Is this a 9th rank profound meaning? Why else would it be so profound and complicated? Luli was confused. It would take a long time for him to study the diagram all the way. It would take him at least 8 to 10 years, let alone a long time. Such a profound meaning could not be of the 6th or 7th rank. It took Mingyu half a month to learn a 7th rank profound meaning. Never mind. Luli was not in a hurry to reach the human sovereign realm since he could not leave now. He studied the diagram while cultivating Xian energy to strengthen his soul. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.